Hey, hi guys, this is Arpita Tulsyan here. I welcome you all to this new batch of CAFinal IDT for November 26 and May 27 examination. Yes, so first of all, I'll tell you about myself, okay, then about the syllabus, then about our subject, and then we will give a very good start to it. Yes, so let me first introduce myself. As you must be already knowing, I am C. Arpita Tulsyan. I am teaching law and IDT at CAFinal level. Yes, and I qualified my examinations in May 2011 examination. I had cleared it in first attempt. Yes, more things I will tell you about my journey as in when we go ahead. But yes, and I am based out of Mumbai. So here we are going to take up, let's start with our new subject, that is the indirect taxes. Yes, for CAFinal. Like I told you, this batch is applicable for November 26 and May 27 examination. So for that, our 5th edition books are applicable. As you already know, this is your concept book, 5th edition concept book, which contains all your full theory. Okay, in approximately 425 pages, we have covered all that. Yes, and this is my second book, that is the compiler book, as you can see here. Yes, and this contains all your question answers as well as the MCQs plus the combined question answers, etc. Everything is covered in these two books. And yes, this book, okay, this concept book, basically you have to use it. Okay, you have to use it right from day one. Now today when you're starting the lectures, from day one you have to use this book even till your revision. Okay, no need to switch to any other revision material, small notes, etc. Not at all required. Unnecessarily it will create chaos for you, unnecessarily it will create confusion for you. So the book has been designed in such a manner that same book is required to be followed from day one till your exam day. Yes, okay. Another thing is, this book is fully amended for November 26 examination. Still, when the ICAI comes up with the statutory update, if there is anything to be added or if there is anything to be deleted also, then I will tell you that. Okay, if you have taken the lectures, then that thing will be updated in your lectures itself. Otherwise, also I will update to you on YouTube, Telegram, and through our free resources section. Okay, so everything will be communicated from my side. You need not worry about the same. Okay, now before getting into the subject, let me tell you how we are going to study, what all things you are required to keep with yourself during the lectures, etc. Let me just quickly tell you about those small things. Okay, so now first of all, see, our syllabus, we have got GST, okay, we have got customs, and we have got FTP in our syllabus. Okay, in our indirect taxes, we have got these three parts: GST, customs, and FTP. Now, GST is 80 marks. Okay, customs and FTP taken together is 20 marks. This is the bifurcation, which makes your overall paper of 100. Okay, and then this further 100 is divided in 70-30. Okay, 70-30 means 30 marks is of MCQs, and this 30 MCQs means from full syllabus. Okay, from full 100, your 30 marks is going to be MCQs and 70 marks is going to be your descriptive question answers. Okay, we will be solving some MCQs in the class also. Okay, and yes, please remember one thing: if you know the concepts well, okay, if you understand the concepts well, if you know the concepts well, if you are able to remember those, recollect those, etc., then in such case, be it descriptive, be it MCQs, everything is manageable. Okay, it's not that you have to take a special effort for MCQ. No, it's not like that. Okay, please understand one thing: MCQs also comes from your concepts only. MCQs also come from your provisions only. So you need not worry about that. Yes, ठीक है. So this was my basic bifurcation of descriptive, MCQs, and my GST, customs, FTP, etc. So now, ma'am, are we going to cover full IDT? Yes. Okay, even if we are calling this batch as a regular EOB batch, please consider this batch as a regular batch only. Okay, this is a regular batch only. You just have to keep that thing in your mind. Okay, another thing, ma'am, how are we going to study, in what sequence are we going to study, etc. So we are going to go as per the sequence which is given in your textbook. Okay, and our textbook is in lines with your ICAI study material. So anytime if you wish to open your study material and just see, you can definitely see. Okay, everything is aligned together so that it does not create any confusion for any of you all. Okay, acha, now listen, how are we going to study? So we will take up a particular chapter. Okay, let's say for example there is a initial chapter called as GST in India and introduction. We will take the first chapter, we will study about it, I will make you understand the provisions, we will discuss about it. Then we will go to the compiler book. Okay, we will go to the question bank book, this compiler book we will go to, and then we will solve its questions. Okay, ma'am, in questions, which all questions are we going to solve? So see, please try to understand, in our compiler book we have got first of all something called as direct questions. Okay, one liner questions, direct questions. Then we have got something called as analytical questions, like good level of questions. Then your case study based question, not one liners. Okay, not one liners. So we are not going to do the direct questions, that you can just just read it once and then you can just try to give the answer on your own. No need to spend too much time there. But the next part which we have to do is the analytical. So analytical questions I will be doing here in the class. Okay, and after that we have got something called as exclusive questions. Okay, like very good level of questions, exclusive questions. We are going to do those questions also in the class. Okay, so you need not worry at all about the question answers also. I will make sure, okay, I will make sure that majority of the questions I do in the class, and rest of the questions which I give you as homework, I will discuss about it. Okay, it's not that I'm leaving everything up to you. No, either it will be a similar question which I'm going to give it to you, or I'm going to discuss those questions with you. Okay, and with this you will be able to solve 100% of your question bank also along with the lectures. Okay, so first we are going to do the concept and then we'll do the question answers. Okay, ma'am, during the class are we going to make any notes? Yes. See, for some chapters it's like, this time I've put the interlinking charts etc in the book itself. So it's not necessary that for everything we are going to make the class notes, but wherever required to make you understand few things, there will be definitely we are going to do some scribble thing and we are going to make the class notes, and these class notes I'm going to share with you. Okay, in the Google Drive, I will share this link on daily basis with you, so that you will be updated with the class notes before you start studying the lectures on your own, or before you start attending the lecture on your own. You should be having the class notes available with you. And also one more thing I want to tell you, ma'am, where will it be uploaded? So in your concept book, okay, in your concept book, just before the index, okay, just before the index, here I have given one QR code. Okay, when you receive the books, you will come to know about that. I have given a QR code, just scan that QR code. Okay, in that, once you scan that QR code, everything relating to your classes will be put up there, like the class index will be there. Okay, then your class notes will be there. If any future amendments come, if there is any correction which I want you to do, everything I will be putting in that particular drive link, which you can just scan from your textbook. Yes, I think everything is clear till here. Now, ma'am, what are we supposed to do after the class? Like once we study from the class, that is okay. But after that, how are we supposed to do? So same day, okay, same day. Now let's say if we are having a 3-hour class, okay, imagine we are having a 3-hour class. So after these 3 hours, you have to take out, let's say 30 minutes. Okay, you have to take out 30 minutes and you have to revise whatever we have done in the class today itself. Okay, if possible, if you can take up 1 hour, okay, that will be a very plus scenario, very amazing scenario, where in this 1 hour you can revise the concepts also, plus you can even go through the question answers also. Means the revision of question answers can also be done now itself. Okay, so if after a 3-hour class or a 4-hour class, whatever it is, after that, even if you are able to give 1 hour, okay, maybe 30 minutes you can give immediately after the lecture, or you can take some break and next day morning before seeing the next class you can revise those things, so that cumulative revision will keep on happening and it will be very, very nice for you. Yes, acha. please maintain one notebook. Okay, please maintain one notebook in which you are also scribbling. Okay, whatever I am writing on the board, see, I will be anyway giving these notes to you. That is okay. But if you are able to make the class notes along with me, then there's nothing better than that, right? So you can, so what you can do is just maintain a notebook. In that chapter wise we will maintain. Okay, if possible keep an index also, so that later whenever you are revising you have everything properly maintained with yourself. So scribble there. Whatever homework questions I give you, please do the homework in the same book. Okay, just like you used to do it in your school times. Okay, just follow the same pattern and it is going to be super beneficial for you. Yes. Okay, fine. So this is done. So this is how you're supposed to do. And yes, please, this 1 hour, this 1 hour is going to be the game changer for you. Okay, if you revise daily, if you revise for 1 hour, whatever we are doing it in the class, then you will not at all find it painful to accumulate the entire syllabus, to revise, to remember. Nothing of those sorts, nothing of those problems will come into picture. Yes. Okay. Yes, so this was all about the basic introduction which I wanted to tell you. Yes, our target should be definitely 75 plus. Yes, marks target, I am telling you, marks target should be 75 plus, and that is easily achievable. Yes, I know, seeing the past trends like the Jan 26 paper, May 26 paper, the paper quality, okay, the level of paper is really good. But one thing which everyone will agree with me on this is, now we cannot leave anything in our syllabus. Okay, it's like the moment you leave something in our syllabus, you will get to see that particular part in our paper. Yes, so 100% syllabus coverage, no mugging up, only conceptual understanding. Okay, this is what we are going to do during the lectures, and this is what I also want you to do for IDT as well as for other subjects. Yes, our target should be 75 plus. Yes, so let's start working towards our target now. Yes, everybody. Chalo, fine. So we'll start with our syllabus. Yes, we'll start. I'll just show you the books also quickly. Now this is the concept handbook which I showed you. Yes, 5th edition book is applicable along with these lectures. This is the index. Okay, in the index we have first taken up all the important definitions under GST. We will use those definitions as and when we require it for our chapters, and then from the first chapter our main chapters are going to start. And similarly my question bank is also designed in the same manner. My compiler is also designed in the same manner. Same chapter wise the syllabus is going to start. And one thing I've added extra this time is these combined master questions. Can you see something like this? Yes, combined master questions. I've included some 15-16 questions here, where questions from multiple chapters have been taken together and combined here. Yes, okay. So I think we are good to go and we can start. Yes, okay. I want you to be ready with a notebook, with a pen, and full concentration. Yes. Okay, so let's start with the first chapter, that is GST in India and Introduction. Okay, this is a very basic chapter. Yes, mainly this chapter is important from your CA Inter point of view. Yes, but there are few basic things, few fundamental things which I will teach you now also, because I am assuming as if you do not remember whatever you have studied at your intermediate level, etc. So we'll study as if you are learning it for the first time. Okay, so now first let me just give you an overview, a background of GST, so that it will be very simple for you to understand. Okay, so now we have got two types of taxes, right? One is my direct tax and second type of tax is my indirect taxes, right? Okay, direct tax means, ma'am, example of direct tax is my income tax. Okay, ma'am, can you give a further example of the same? Yes. Now let's say if I am earning, okay, let's say if I am earning salary of rupees 10 lakhs, okay, in a year. Let's say I am earning salary of rupees 10 lakh. Then I know that I am ignoring the slab rates, etc. Okay, this is just for an example purpose. Let's say I am earning a salary of rupees 10 lakh. Then can I say on this salary income, I will have to pay some tax to the government? Okay, directly, I am earning the amount and I have to pay the tax to the government. Such a type of tax is directly coming on the consumer, is directly coming on the person who is earning this income, and that person is directly going to pay the tax to the government. Okay, this is my direct taxes. Now next is my indirect tax. Okay, example of indirect taxes. Best example of indirect taxes that we have is GST. Similarly, we have got our customs. Similarly, we had our excise duty. Okay, then we have our VAT, etc. These all are my indirect taxes. Yes, and why these taxes are called as indirect taxes? So the reason here is, it's not that the customer is directly going and paying the tax to the government, but customer is indirectly paying that tax to the government, and hence this type of tax is called as indirect tax. See, here also the person who was earning the amount was directly going and paying that amount of tax to the government. But here indirect taxes is paid by the customer indirectly to the government. Ma'am, can you explain us how the customer is indirectly paying the taxes to the government? Yes. Okay, I'll make you understand the entire chain. Don't worry about the same. Yes. Okay. Now let's say there is a manufacturer. Okay, there is a manufacturer who is manufacturing certain goods. Okay, let's say there is a manufacturer who is manufacturing this pen. Okay, this pen. And let's say after manufacturing, he sells that pen. Okay, manufacturer is going to sell that pen to a further wholesaler. Let's say, for example, he is selling at rupees 100 plus, let's say, GST rate on that is equal to 18%. Okay, please try to understand this. You will be able to understand the fundamental in a very nice manner. Okay, please try to understand here. Okay, so manufacturer is there who is selling at 100 rupees plus 18% GST is levying. So he is collecting 118 rupees from the wholesaler. Let's say he is collecting 118 rupees from the wholesaler. So now how does it happen? Manufacturer sells the goods to the wholesaler for 118. Out of that, manufacturer will keep 100 rupees in his pocket. Okay, this 100 rupees he will keep in his pocket, but this 18%, that is 18 rupees, he will have to go and pay it to the government. Okay, so at this level, how much amount has the government got? At this level, the government has got 18 rupees of taxes. Now, this was my sales. Okay, this was the sales of the manufacturer, but this is whose purchases? This is the purchases of the wholesaler. Okay, so now wholesaler has purchased it from the manufacturer, and now wholesaler is going to sell it to the retailer. Yes, okay, so now let's say wholesaler sells it. Okay, wholesaler sells it at 150 rupees, means he has added his own profit also, and then he is selling it at 150 rupees. While selling it at 150, he will also have to add 18% of GST. Let's say 18% of GST comes to 27 rupees. Total amount is equal to 177, at which he has sold it to the retailer. Okay, now think from the wholesaler point of view. How much amount will now go to the government at this level? So, wholesaler, can we see, is collected 177 from the retailer. Acha, 150 he will keep in his pocket, but 27 he will have to pay to the government. Right now, what will he say is, okay, government sir, we will give you 27 rupees, but wholesaler will say, Arey Baba, at the time of purchase from the manufacturer, I had already paid some amount as taxes. Right, at that time he had paid this 18 rupees as taxes to the manufacturer, and manufacturer had paid it to the government. Right, so at this level, wholesaler will deduct this 18 rupees which he had already paid as taxes, and the balance amount of 9 rupees he will pay to the government now. Okay, this he will pay to the government here. Okay, now this 18 rupees benefit that we have got here because of the taxes paid at the earlier level, this is called as input tax credit. Input, okay, input means whatever I had purchased at the time of purchase, if I had already paid the tax on that, and same goods if I am selling it ahead, then can we say there should be a tax only on value addition? Otherwise, what will happen? Otherwise, if there is no concept of ITC, then can we say same product is getting taxed again and again? Yes, so the time when I had purchased this good, at that time I had paid 18 rupees of taxes, so that I will get as input tax credit, and balance amount will be paid to the government. right? And now the last level, okay, let's say now, can we say wholesaler has now sold it to the retailer, right? Wholesaler has sold the goods to the retailer at this value. Retailer will further sell it. Retailer will further sell it to the customer. Yes, let's say retailer sells it further to the customer at 200 rupees. Even he will add his profit. He is selling it at 200 rupees plus he is adding 18% GST, that is 36 rupees. So 236 rupees is my total price. A total selling price to the customer. Can we say customer will give us 236 rupees? Now out of that, can I say this 200 retailer will keep in his pocket? But this 36 is the tax which he will have to go and pay to the government. So he will say that, okay, 36 rupees payable to the government. But can we say on the same goods already, when retailer was purchasing it from the wholesaler, retailer had paid 27 rupees of taxes already when he was purchasing it from the wholesaler. So he will take the input tax credit of what amount? He will take the input tax credit of rupees 27 and balance 9 rupees. Now he will pay it to the government. Are you understanding this? Okay. So now finally, customer has paid what amount? Customer purchased it from retailer now. So for the value of goods he had paid 200 rupees, this value. For the value of goods he had paid 200 rupees and taxes he had paid 36 rupees. Total value that the customer paid was 236 rupees. Acha. Can we say the value of goods was only rupees 200? Customer ended up paying 36 rupees as taxes. Customer ended up paying 36 rupees as taxes. Now, can we say this 36 will ultimately go to the government? Yes. Now here, will customer go and pay it to the government or already that taxes has been paid to the government? Customer has purchased the goods. Imagine now you as a customer, you go to some shop and you purchase it. After that, do you go and pay any GST extra to the government? No. Those goods which have reached the customer, that has already borne the burden of the tax. Now see, can we say on these goods, ultimately customer has paid 36 rupees of taxes? That has already reached to the government at different levels. Identify, see this. Government got this 18 rupees here, government got this 9 rupees here, and government got this 9 rupees here. So total amount of taxes which the government has already got is equal to 36 rupees. Can we say this 36 is matching with this 36? Did you understand this concept of indirect taxes? Yes, so we as the customer, see, whenever we buy something on MRP includes all the taxes. Actually, it is a tax paid. Ultimately, the burden is borne by the customer. Okay, so everyone here, manufacturer, wholesaler, retailer, is passing on the burden of tax to the next person. And the last person is the one who ultimately bears the entire burden, and government keeps on getting the taxes at every level. Means wherever there is a value addition. Okay, wherever there is a value addition. Now your manufacturer did a value addition of 100 rupees. So 18% of that was paid by the manufacturer. Then wholesaler did a value addition of 50 rupees. 150. He did a value addition of 50 rupees. So on 50, 18%, that is 9 rupees was paid here. Then retailer further did a value addition. Retailer further did a value addition of another 50 rupees. So on 50 rupees at the rate of 18%, he paid 9 rupees of taxes to the government. Did you understand how is it happening? Yes. So this is your entire concept. This is your entire concept of indirect taxes and input tax credit. Okay, we will study more about input tax credit and all that, but this is the basic fundamental. Okay, this is the basic fundamental which you need to understand. Okay, can we go ahead now, everyone? Yes. Okay, chalo now GST. Okay, now talking about GST, we'll quickly glance through this particular chapter before going on to the supply chapter. Now this GST, okay, this came into picture in the year 2017. Okay, GST came into picture actually on 1st July. 1st July celebrated as GST day also, and it is celebrated as a CA day also. Yes, for us, for commerce people, it is celebrated in this manner, right? So GST came into picture on 1st July 2017. So GST is an indirect taxes, we know, and it is a very crucial indirect taxes as on today. Right now, ma'am, what was the scenario before 1st July 2017? Was there no indirect taxes? Definitely there was indirect taxes, because the economy cannot survive without taxes. Okay, government will say that from where will we get money to do public development, for infrastructure, for defense, etc. From where does the government get money? So government collects that money in the form of taxes from us, and we pay it to the government. Okay, we pay direct taxes, we indirectly pay indirect taxes also to the government. So now my question remains the same, that is, what was the scenario before 1st July 2017? So before 1st July 2017, we had multiple indirect taxes, like we had VAT, we had CST, we had service tax, we had excise duty, etc. There were multiple taxes on multiple things. Okay, because there were certain deficiencies in the old law. See, every law has some or the other deficiency. Okay, but when the deficiencies grow to such a level that there is a need to bring up a new law, so then emerged the new law, that is the GST. Okay, we will study that because of what reasons GST had to come into picture. We will study all those things. Okay, but before GST, we had these multiple taxes. Now those multiple taxes are not there except on few items. Now on majority items, we have got our GST. Okay, now full form of GST is what? Full form of GST is goods and service tax. Okay, goods and services tax. Now, goods and service tax means what? It is such a tax. It is such a tax which is applicable on goods also, and it is applicable on services also. So let's say if I am dealing into some goods, okay, I am selling a particular pen, I am buying a particular pen, I am manufacturing something, etc. Then on those goods, GST is applicable. Or let's say I am providing you services, I am providing you teaching services. Then on these services also, I am providing you CA related services, I am providing you return filing services, I am providing you audit services, I am providing you haircut services, I am providing you food services, etc. On these services also now GST will be applicable. Are you able to understand this? Okay, now income tax you must be knowing na. Income tax you must be knowing, it comes totally under the purview of central government. Okay, income tax, whether you are in Maharashtra state or you are in Tamil Nadu state or you are in Kerala state, doesn't matter. Income tax remains the same. Okay, it is not state specific. Okay, now GST is such a law where both the governments have dual powers. That is, central government has also got power in GST and state government has also got power in GST. So it is such a law where dual government or dual powers is made applicable. Yes. Chalo. So now let's start into let's get into the detail of this provisions. Okay. Now see, first of all, before GST, like I told you, service tax was there, excise duty was there, VAT was there, CST was there, etc. I'll explain you few things here, and then we can go to the textbook and just complete it by reading from there. Yes, please try to understand here, everyone. Please try to understand. Yes. Okay. Now listen. Before GST, like I told you, we had excise duty, we had your service tax, we had VAT, and we had CST. Okay, now let's say for example, excise duty. Okay, excise duty was applicable on goods, manufacture of goods. Okay, service tax was applicable purely on services. VAT and CST was applicable on goods. Okay, so different taxes were applicable on goods and services. Now that has been integrated and GST is applicable on both goods as well as services. Okay, similarly, now if I talk about service tax was totally within the purview of central government. Okay, VAT was totally within the purview of state government. CST was totally within the purview of central government. Okay, this was the scenario earlier. But now GST is going to have the control of both central government as well as state government. Yes. Then another thing which I want to tell you here is, please try to understand, this is one such law. Okay, this is one such law where dual powers is applicable. Okay, generally it is either central government or state government, but here because it was such a crucial tax, okay, GST is such a crucial tax where neither central government can take the entire charge nor state governments can be given the entire charge. Otherwise it becomes a major imbalance in the price of the products, etc., like you must be knowing in case of petrol. Okay, so now what they did was from 1st July 2017, okay, from 1st July 2017 your GST became applicable. Okay, from 1st July 2017 GST was applicable to whole of India excluding the state of Jammu and Kashmir. And then something happened, and within a week's time, let's say on 8th July 2017, GST was made applicable to Jammu and Kashmir also. Okay, so as on today or as on 8th July 2017, we can say that GST is applicable to whole of India. Okay, as of now, GST is applicable to whole of India. Means it is applicable to all the states, all the union territories and whole of India. Yes, okay. Now see, please try to understand. When we say GST, so I told you GST is a tax which is applicable on goods also, and it is a tax which is applicable on services also, right? It is applicable on both of it. This was the basic introduction. Like the numerical example we saw, did you understand here at every level government was getting taxes on the value addition? Yes, whatever value addition was done by each person, on that the government was getting the tax, and hence GST is called as what? And hence GST is called as a value added taxation. Value added taxation means whenever there is a value addition happening in the value of that product, on that GST will be applicable. Okay, on that GST will be applicable. Another thing, now multiple taxes problem has been solved. Okay, why? Because earlier what used to happen, there were certain products on which clarity was not there as to like VAT should be applicable or service tax should be applicable. But now because there is only one tax, now because there is only GST, so we know that GST will be applicable. Okay, example, restaurant services. On restaurant services, earlier there was no clarity that whether should VAT be applicable or service tax be applicable, but now because there is no VAT, because there is no service tax, now we know that only GST is going to be applicable. Okay, similarly in case of works contract services also there used to be trouble understanding. Okay, but now that problem has been solved. So now GST is applicable. So as of today GST is applicable to whole of India. Yes, now just let's quickly go through this from the introduction part. Okay, everyone here. Now, introduction of GST. Introduction of GST required amendment in the constitution. Very nice point. This required amendment in the constitution so as to enable integration taxes levied by the central and state government into a comprehensive GST and to empower both of them, center as well as the state, to levy and collect it. So when they had to come up with this GST, they had to do a change in the constitution. Okay, it means first they introduced a constitution amendment bill, then they passed a constitution amendment act, and then the GST laws came into picture. Then the CGST Act, IGST Act, etc., which I am going to tell you further, then those laws were introduced. Okay, ma'am, why amendment in the constitution was required by way of an article? Why amendment in constitution? Because earlier indirect taxes were not having dual powers of the government. Okay, means government, like central government and state government, both of them were not having a common power to levy the indirect taxes. But now your central government and state government are given the dual powers, joint powers to levy the GST, and that had to be done by way of a constitutional amendment. So first thing that they did was they did the amendment in the constitution. Okay, in our constitution of India. Okay, there are many articles in the constitution of India. So they introduced a new article for levying the GST. Okay, that amendment in constitution was done, and then different types of GST acts were introduced. Okay, So that is the first point. Another point is it came into effect from 1st July 2017. It was extended to Jammu Kashmir on 8th July 2017, and GST is a destination based consumption tax, and GST is applicable to whole of India. So GST is applicable to whole of India. This point I already know. What do you mean by this? GST is a destination based consumption tax. Destination based consumption tax. Destination based means, now please try to understand. Please try to understand from this example. Okay, now listen, this ultimate 36 rupees of taxes, can we say ultimately government is going to get 36 rupees of taxes? This ultimate 36 rupees of taxes will belong to which government? So this will be shared, okay, this will be shared between two governments. Which two governments? Central government and state government. Okay, this will be shared between central government and state government. Okay, because both of them had the powers to levy this. Okay, let's say 50-50% is shared by both of them. So 18 rupees will go to the central government, that is okay. Now balance 18 rupees will go to which state government? So it will go to that state government where ultimately these goods or services are consumed. Means where the customer is based. Okay, to that particular state, the revenue of the GST is going to go. Okay, now let's say for example this government is based in Maharashtra. So this 18 rupees of, it will be assumed as if this 18 rupees of revenue is generated by the Maharashtra government, and therefore this 18 rupees will belong to the Maharashtra government. I hope I am very clear till here, everyone. That's why we do not say it is not a origin based tax. Means where the manufacturer is situated, that is irrelevant. Okay, where the other middle persons are originated, that is irrelevant. Where is the ultimate destination of that particular product? Okay, let's say the product is consumed in Maharashtra itself. Then in that case, Maharashtra government is going to get that share of tax. Yes, and hence this is called as a destination based consumption tax. Means where it is going to get consumed, the destination and where it is going to get consumed, that government is going to get the revenue out of same. Okay, now after this constitution amendment etc. was done, after that they had to bring up the GST laws. Okay, like the new income tax act has come into picture. Similarly, GST laws had also come into picture. Now which all laws came into picture? So central, state and other laws which came into force was, one is the main act called as CGST Act, that is Central GST Act. Okay, then IGST Act called as Integrated GST Act. Then UT-GST Act, that is Union Territory GST Act, that is for some union territories. Okay, now in India, we have got some union territories like, okay, let me tell you, which are the union territories in India as per our Indian constitution. Please try to understand that. Okay, now I'll just write it here. We are discussing about union territories. Okay, we are discussing about union territories. Okay, so these are your union territories as per the Indian constitution. Okay, now what happened is, for GST point of view, okay, or for GST purpose, when GST law came into force, okay, then we went and we asked these union territories that how would you like to adopt the GST law? Like, would you want to create your own legislature? Do you want to make your own laws just like a state is going to make? Or do you want to get regulated by the central government? Normally, however you get regulated. So then Chandigarh, Chandigarh, Andaman Nicobar, Lakshadweep, Ladakh, Dadra and Nagar Haveli and Daman and Diu. Okay, these places, that is call D. Okay, call D, CALLD, call D. Okay, call D said that we want to get treated as union territory only. Means we do not want to create our own laws, we do not want to create our own legislature, so we want to get treated as a union territory itself. Okay, but Delhi, Puducherry and Jammu Kashmir, these three union territories told that we will create our own state legislature. Okay, we will create our own state legislature and we want to get treated as if we are states. As if we are states. So they are not going to come into the union territories and they will not be called as union territories, and hence UT-GST Act will not be applicable to them. Okay, so to these 5 union territories, basically my UT-GST Act is applicable. Okay, short form to remember this is called D. Okay, these 5 union territories or any other, okay, or any other union territory as the government may notify in the near future. So call D and others. Call D and others. Others means this other, that is any other union territory which the government may notify. So call D and others are such union territories, which are considered as union territory for the purpose of GST. But Delhi, Puducherry and Jammu Kashmir, okay, DPK, DPJ, whatever you want to call it as, these will be considered as states because they have opted to make their own state legislature. Okay. So now GST law is applicable. Okay, when I say with GST law, okay, when I say GST law means what? GST law means my CGST Act. Okay, it means my SGST Acts. Okay, then the next one is my UT-GST Act. These are and the last one, that is IGST Act. Okay, these are the 4 main laws, okay, or these are the 4 categories of laws which came into picture with the birth of GST. Now, when I talk about CGST Act, so we will say that CGST Act is applicable to whole of India. Okay, SGST Acts. Now, in India, there will be multiple SGST Act for each state. Example, Maharashtra will have its own Maharashtra GST Act. Okay, Tamil Nadu is going to have its own Tamil Nadu State GST Act. Okay, similarly, whatever are the number of states in India, they will have their own SGST Acts, plus even DPK, that is Delhi, Puducherry and Jammu Kashmir. Even these are going to have their own SGST Acts individually. Yes, why they will have their own acts individually? Because they told that we do not want to get treated as union territories and we will make our own state legislature. Okay, then UT-GST Act. UT-GST Act, can we say it will be applicable to call D and others? Because these are still treated as union territories only, right? And IGST Act. IGST Act is a central government ruled act, so it will be applicable to whole of India. Okay, IGST Act is mainly for whom? IGST Act is mainly for all the interstate transaction. Means where 2 or more states are involved, for those transactions, IGST Act will be applicable. Okay, so when I say GST law came into picture, means these acts had come into picture. Manageable till here? Yes. Yes, so with this you must have understood whenever we use the word GST laws means which all act had come into picture. Yes, okay. So this was all about my union territories. Okay, we'll also do one more thing. In your book, okay, in your notebook that you are maintaining, please write these short forms also. You can write it in your notebook also, or better is in your textbook itself. Okay, in your textbook where you see the, this union territories list, you can just write it here, call D and others, so that next time when you revise it from the textbook, you can just, refer to this short form and it will definitely fit in your mind. And then when we go ahead to other chapters where we have other list of, name of states, etc. coming into picture, maybe we'll prepare a summary chart that in this chapter, these are the union territories. In this chapter, these name of states are coming into picture. We'll prepare a full summary sheet of the same. Okay, so now the laws which came into force was CGST Act, IGST Act, UTGST Act, SGST Acts. Okay, SGST Act is not one. Like for Maharashtra it is one, for Tamil Nadu it is another, for Kerala it is another, for Delhi it is another, for Puducherry it is another. Okay, Delhi, Puducherry, Jammu Kashmir, these three are union territories as per Indian constitution. But for the purpose of GST, those will be considered as states only, and hence they have got their own SGST law. And last one more, okay, one more act was there, that is something called as GST compensation to states cess act 2017. Okay, GST compensation cess act 2017. Basically this act, first of all, this act is going to die. This has already gone actually on 31st March 2026. Okay, it was introduced in 2017, but it got expired on 31st March 2026. This act had come into picture basically to compensate the states. Okay, to compensate the states. See, when GST came into picture, that was a big blow to the states. Why? Because earlier VAT was there under the control of state government only. So on all the goods, whatever was the VAT collected in the earlier regime, that was 100% of the revenue was going to the states only. But now when GST came into picture, then the revenue got shared between the central government and state government. So on certain goods, the states were totally opposing that, no, we cannot afford to lose such big amount of revenue. So central government had told that, don't worry, we will give you some compensation under this act called as GST Compensation Cess Act 2017, and this was promised till 31st March 2026, and now basically this act is gone. This act is gone now, and here not all the products were included in this act, like tobacco was included, pan masala, etc. Those sin goods, okay, those sin, S-I-N, those sin goods were included, where the central government was going to compensate the state government for the revenue loss. Okay, so these were the acts which had come into picture when GST was born. Okay, now concept of GST, it is a tax on goods as well as services. We have already discussed about it. It is a value added tax. So as in when we go on doing the value addition, the tax goes on, keeps on going to the government. There is a continuous chain of tax credit. This I have already shown it to you. There is a continuous chain of tax credit. That is, whatever tax was paid at the earlier level, that amount of credit we keep on getting at the next level. Right, and final burden is borne by the consumer. That also I have already explained it to you. This 36 rupees is actually borne by the customer, which is received by the government, and no cascading of taxes. No cascading of taxes means there is no tax on tax that is happening. Okay, at every level, because we are getting the credit of the tax paid at the earlier level, there is no tax on tax that is happening. Okay, this is nothing but the concept of GST. Manageable till here, simple till here? Yes? Okay. Now another thing which I wanted to discuss with you is why GST came into picture. Means already we had other laws in place. Now we had our excise duty, we had our VAT, we had our service tax, etc. We had those things in picture. Then why? What was the need of GST? So obviously because there were certain issues with the old law, they came up with the new law. Ma'am, can you tell us what were the issues with the old law? So in the old law, first of all, there were two different governments. Okay, central government was having full control of services. State government was having full control of goods. Okay, so state government, okay, our state government was not able to get the taxes on services. Okay, similarly, central government was not getting any taxes on the goods. Yes, so there was a big imbalance in the tax collection of central government and state government. Okay, another thing, just like in GST, we took the credit of the tax paid to the government, right? At the earlier level, whatever tax we had paid to the government, we got the credit of the same, we got the input tax credit of the same. That was not available in the old laws. That is, let's say if your goods are already excised goods, okay, means on those goods already excise duty was applicable. So can we say you've already paid that tax to the government? Now, when you further sell the goods, at that time VAT and CST was applicable on the total value including taxes. Okay, so can we say there was a tax on tax that was happening? And plus along with that, whatever taxes were paid at the earlier level, we were not getting the credit of the same. It was not set off. It was not allowed to be set off. Okay, let's say there is something on which VAT was applicable, and later on that service tax is applicable. So the VAT which was paid earlier, that was not allowed to be set off against the service tax. Because of that, can we say tax was kept on getting on added on the product? It was getting added on the product, and because of which nothing is going to happen. Like, two things is going to happen. First of all, the product is going to become very expensive for the customer, and secondly, government's revenue is going to increase multiple times, right? Achha, another thing, there were multiple taxes earlier, like excise duty was also levied. Okay, then your VAT was also, like, if the goods was manufactured first, excise duty will be levied. Then when you further sell the goods, on that VAT will be levied. Okay, this is how, like, multiple taxes. Apart from that, also there was something called as luxury tax, purchase tax, advertisement tax, entertainment tax. Like, multiple types of taxes were there, because of it, like, people were literally fed up. Okay, people were literally fed up that what, you bring one single tax now, and that is the reason government came with this single tax called as GST. Okay, similarly, let's say for example, now I am providing you the services. Okay, for providing you the services, I will have to purchase an iPad. Let's say I have to purchase an iPad. So can I say, for providing some services, I have to purchase some goods. So on those goods, I would have paid VAT. Earlier regime, I would have paid VAT, but now to provide you services, I will have to charge service tax from you, right? Now here, I was not allowed to take any credit. Okay, I was not allowed to take any credit on the VAT which I had paid, for the VAT which I had paid on that iPad. But can I say that iPad, I used it for service tax only? But now that problem will not come. Why? Because when I purchased iPad, GST I would have paid. Yes, and while providing you the other services, at that time also GST is payable, so I can set off. Okay, whatever GST was paid for purchase of iPad, I can set it off now. So there will be no multiple taxes, there will be no cascading effects, etc. happening now. Okay, then as you already know, in last few years, India has really started providing, like, the quantum of services. Okay, the number of people dealing in services is more, like, it is increasing very nicely. Earlier, people were traditionally indulged only in goods. Okay, they were involved only in goods, like, they will purchase the goods, they will sell the goods, they will manufacture the goods, they will sell the goods. But now more and more people are getting into service industry. Okay, so can we say earlier services was not there in the hands of state government at all? Entire revenue was going to the central government only. So states were aggrieved. States were like, we also want revenue from service tax. So that was not happening. So now under GST, it is anyway 50-50. 50% revenue will go to central government, 50% revenue will go to the state government. Okay, then CST was another big problem, right? Why? Because whatever CST you have paid earlier, there was no credit available. Okay, there was no benefit available of that CST which you had paid at the earlier level. Okay, and just like we know, GST is a consumption based tax, means the place where it is going to get consumed, that government is going to get the revenue. But CST was origin based taxation, means the revenue will go to that state where the movement of the goods started. So that was totally against the principle of indirect taxes. So there were these many problems. Okay, there were these many problems under the old system. Okay, and because of which your GST had come into picture. Okay, earlier it also used to happen in this way. I'll just give you an example, everyone. I'll just give you an example here. It used to happen in this way that let's say you are manufacturing some goods. Okay, let's say cost of some goods is 100 rupees. Okay, on plus you will add some profit to that. Okay, or let me call this as value of the goods. Okay, let's say value of the goods is equal to 100 rupees because you have manufactured this good. So before removing it from your factory, excise duty will be levied on the same. Let's say, for example, excise duty was 10 rupees. So total value is equal to 110. Can we say that will be added to the value itself? Now, yes, now there was no credit. Okay, there was no credit available for this 10. Now, when you later sell these goods, can we say at that time, let's say VAT was applicable. Okay, let's say, for example, I'm just taking a very basic example. Can we say 10 rupees VAT was levied? Okay, now when you're paying this VAT to the government, okay, on the same goods, can we say already excise duty was levied? So what was happening is, first of all, there was no credit. Okay, first of all, there was no credit of this excise duty available. Means whatever you have paid is paid. Okay, another thing is, when this VAT was levied, it was not levied on 100 rupees. No, it was levied on this 110. Okay, this VAT was levied on this 110. Means what is happening? Can we say you are levying VAT on value also and plus tax? Means there is a tax levied on another tax. Right? So because of all these problems, they came up with VAT. Okay, so they came up with this GST. So these are some deficiencies in the existing system. Then came our GST. So GST gave powers to both the government, central government as well as state government, to levy the taxes on both goods as well as services. Okay, now ma'am, how the tax is levied, or what is the name of the tax? What are you going to call it as? So if it is an intra-state supply, intra-state means within two states, within a single state. Okay, if the transaction is happening, like the buyer as well as seller are situated within the same state, okay, then in that case such a supply is called as intrastate supply, and at that time there are two taxes levied called as CGST and SGST, central GST and state GST. Let's say if the rate of GST is 18% on a particular product, so 9% will be CGST and 9% will be SGST, like 50-50, half. Okay, CGST and SGST. So CGST is levied by central government, SGST is levied by the state government or the union territory with state legislature, means a proper state. Okay, proper state. All the states including your DPK. Okay, all the states including your DPK. But if both of them are situated within the same union territory, then it will be CGST and UTGST, like 9% CGST and 9% UTGST. Okay, I'll give you some examples for this. Don't worry about that. Okay, so this is one thing. For intra-state supply, CGST and SGST will be levied, or CGST and UTGST will be levied. And for interstate supply, interstate means where there are two states involved, like buyer and seller, both of them are situated in two different states. At that time, we levy a tax called as IGST, integrated GST. I already told you this now. IGST is the tax which is levied in case of interstate supply. So IGST is collected by the central government, and later on it is shared between the central government and state government. Like 50% is retained by the central government, 50% is paid to the state government. With state government, destination based state government. Okay, acha. Then after that, I'll give you some examples for this. Everyone, quickly listen to the examples. Everyone. Let's say for example, buyer and seller both are situated in Maharashtra. Maharashtra to Maharashtra, the supply is happening. So which tax will be levied? It will be CGST and SGST. Okay. Let's say the transaction is happening between Maharashtra to Delhi. Maharashtra is selling it to Delhi. So at that time, IGST will be levied. Okay. Let's say there is a transaction happening between Delhi to Delhi. Now, Delhi, even though it is the union territory, but for the purpose of GST, it will be considered as state, because they decided that they will make their own legislature. So this year, it will be CGST and SGST will be made applicable. Okay, let's say there is a transaction happening between Andaman and Nicobar Islands to Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Means the transaction is happening between one same union territory. Then in that case, CGST and UTGST will be levied. Right? Let's say there is a transaction happening between Maharashtra and Ladakh. Maharashtra and Ladakh, like Maharashtra is your state and Ladakh is your union territory. So can we say these are two different states or union territories? So IGST will be levied. Yes. Okay. Then let's say there is a transaction happening between Maharashtra and Jammu Kashmir. Maharashtra and Jammu Kashmir. So Jammu Kashmir is a state only. Maharashtra is one state, Jammu Kashmir is another state. So again here IGST is going to become applicable. I hope this much is clear for you everyone. Yes. So these were certain examples where which tax will be applicable in which scenario. right? Acha, then now ma'am, on goods and services, how the taxes will be levied in goods and services? Like on all the goods, are the rates of taxes same? On all the services, are there? No. So the rates of taxes differ from goods to goods and from services to services. So what the government has done is they have classified the goods. Okay, they have classified the goods and they have classified the services, and besides every goods and besides every category of services, they have prescribed some percentage, some rate of tax besides that. Obviously that rate of tax you are not supposed to by heart it, okay, but so they have classified, they have used a code called as HSN code, harmonized system of nomenclature. Okay, harmonized system of nomenclature. By this method they have classified the goods, like similar category of goods have been put together, similar category of services they have put together under one SAC. SAC stands for Service Accounting Code. Okay, service accounting code. So they have used this HSN code and they have used this service accounting code, and they have done the classification of goods and services, and depending upon this classification the rates of taxes have been put besides that. Okay, then there are multiple schemes under GST. One of the scheme is something called as composition scheme. Composition scheme is such a scheme which is applicable to small dealers. Small dealer, we will study about composition scheme in detail when we go to charge under GST chapter. Now composition scheme means small business people, means whose turnover does not exceed a certain limit. Okay, if they are doing their business, then they will be given some ease, okay, or they will be given some simple method by which they can get themselves registered, they can pay the taxes, like no need to do multiple complex calculations, etc. So some for these small businesses they have prescribed a scheme called as composition scheme. Obviously it has its own pros and cons, but yes, at least this facility has been given to small dealers that you need not maintain full-fledged books of accounts, you need not do the complex calculations of GST, etc. So some simplified scheme has been made for the composition dealer. So ma'am, who comes under this composition dealer? Wait for that, we'll not take it here, we'll take it to the charge under GST chapter. Now under GST, are we required to take registration? So yes. Okay, so once your turnover exceeds certain limit, okay, once your sales exceed certain limit, then you will have to get yourself registered under GST, and the moment you get registered under GST, you will have to start collecting the taxes on every supply that you are making. Okay, then there is something called as exemptions. Okay, there are certain category of goods and there are certain category of services which the government has totally exempted. Okay, government has totally exempted means what? Government is telling that on these products you need not pay any taxes. Example, there can be some fresh vegetables, there can be some fresh fruits, okay, there can be milk, okay, then there can be some medicines, then there can be eggs, bread, etc. Not all, okay, there will be some items, some goods and some services which they will totally exempt from GST, on which we are not required to pay any GST at all. For that we have got a separate chapter called as exemptions under GST. Okay, then to do all these things, like to pay, to get yourself registered, to pay the GST to the government, to file the GST returns, and for all the other procedures, they have made a website. Okay, they have made a website called as gst.gov.in. Can you see this here? gst.gov.in. This is called as a common portal, common portal for GST. On this website, you can go and you can get yourself registered, you can pay the taxes, you can file the return, everything relating to GST you can do on this particular website. And this website is managed by GST Network, which is a Section 8 company, which is established by the government. Okay, this company is established by the government. For what purpose? To make this particular website, or to create an interface between the government and the general public. Yes, okay, then you can you can register yourself here, you can file the returns here, you can calculate the amount of GST, then you can take the ITC on the basis of amount available on this website, etc. So these are the multiple functions. Okay, these are the multiple functions of your GST website. Acha, there is a separate website for furnishing electronic way bill. Okay, we will further study something called as e-way bill. Okay, e-way bill is a document which we use when we transport goods from physically when we transport goods from, only for goods, when we physically transport the goods from one place to another, at that time we use a document called as e-way bill, and that e-way bill is generated on a website called as ewaybillgst.gov.in. So normally all the things about GST is done on the common portal, that is gst.gov.in, but for e-way bill we have a separate website called as ewaybillgst.gov.in. Okay, then there are certain GSPs and ASPs, that is GST Suvidha providers and application service providers. So, to run our common portal, we need help of some technology, right? To run our GST common portal, we need help of some IT companies. So these are nothing but our GST Suvidha providers and GST application service providers. So the GST department will take help from these service providers and they will maintain the website. Okay, then there is something called as compensation set, which I had already told you. So on some sin goods, on some demerit goods like tobacco, pan masala, aerated water, motor car, like high value goods, etc. Also on these goods, the state government said that, sir, on these goods we used to earn a huge amount of revenue when old regime was applicable, but now, sir, because GST has come into picture, we are going to miss out on our revenue, so we need some compensation. So the compensation was paid by the central government to state government under this act called as GST Compensation Cess Act, but this was applicable only till 31st March 2020. Manageable till here, simple till here? Yes. Okay. So then let's continue ahead, everyone. Now getting into some more technicalities of this GST. Yes, this is just an introduction chapter. You must have already studied this in this earlier also, but I thought I should just be revising it with you once so that later, if at all any reference comes ahead, you should not be blank about it. Okay, now as you already know, GST is applicable. One second, I'll just write it here. GST. Okay, GST is applicable on what? We know that GST is applicable on goods and GST is applicable on services. Okay, now we will first say that it is applicable on all goods and it is applicable on all services. So ma'am, what is included in goods, what is included in services, that we will do it. We'll keep it for the supply chapter. Okay, we'll do it in the definitions before starting the supply chapter. So as of now, just assume that GST is simply applicable on all goods, it is applicable on all services, but there is some exception list. Okay, apart from the definition of goods and services, that anyway we are going to study it separately. Apart from that, some things are there which are totally outside the purview of GST. Let's try to understand that. Now, what is outside? Can you see this diagram, everyone? What is outside the purview of GST? Let's try to understand that. So, alcoholic liquor for human consumption, okay, not alcoholic liquor which is used for other purposes. Let's say if alcoholic liquor is used for making medicines, etc., not that, but alcoholic liquor for human consumption, that is totally outside the purview of GST. On that, they do not have any plans to levy GST, that is not in the pipeline at all. Okay, that is one thing. Then second one is undenatured extra neutral alcohol. Okay, undenatured ENA, what it is normally called as undenatured ENA. That is nothing but a very big raw material which is used for making alcoholic liquor for human consumption. So if undenatured ENA or rectified spirit, okay, undenatured ENA or rectified spirit which is used as a raw material, okay, which is used as a raw material for making alcoholic liquor for human consumption, then even the raw material has been totally shifted outside the purview of GST. Okay, but it should be only for alcoholic liquor for human consumption. Okay, then in such a case, these products are totally outside the purview of GST. So now, ma'am, does that mean, wow, it is totally tax free? So no, it is not that way. It is not totally tax free on that, because GST is not applicable. So all the laws will be applicable. That is, state excise duty will be applicable on its manufacturing and VAT and CST will be applicable on its sale. So when someone is manufacturing, state excise duty will be applicable, and if you are selling within the same state, VAT will be applicable, and if you are selling interstate, then CST will be applicable. So because GST is not applicable, so old laws are still applicable on some products. Okay, that is one thing. Another thing, then next 5 products. Okay, we are required to study about the next 5 products. These 5 products are within the purview of GST. Okay, these are within the purview of GST, but GST is not yet levied. Means on these 5 products, they want to levy the GST. GST is going to come on these products, but from when the GST is going to come on these products, that we do not know. That is yet to be notified. Okay, which are these 5 products? So one is your petroleum crude, then your high speed diesel, then your motor spirit, that is petrol, then natural gas, and then aviation turbine fuel, which is used for your aeroplanes, etc. So on these 5 products, it's not that it is outside the purview of GST, it is within the purview of GST, but as of now GST is not applicable. GST will be applicable on a date which will be notified. Okay, who will notify? Obviously the government will notify, but government will notify after taking a recommendation from the GST council. Okay, so there is a GST council, there is a GST council group who gives recommendation to the government, and then the government, if it thinks fit, then the government will notify. So the date, the effective date is yet to be notified. Yes, on these 5 products. Acha, till the time it is notified. Okay, till the time it is notified, till that time central excise duty is applicable and on manufacturing, and VAT CST is applicable on sale. Okay, the day GST becomes applicable on these products, the price will be regulated and also the old taxes will be totally abolished on that. Yes. Okay, now going on to some special products, everyone here. Okay, now going on to some special products. Now, what are these products? Now, first one is tobacco. Again, tobacco is a sin product. Okay, it is a sin product. So, they are telling that on this, GST is also applicable. Okay, and central excise duty is also applicable. So, when someone is manufacturing tobacco, at that time, he will have to pay excise duty on that, and later on its sale, GST is also applicable. Okay, so here kind of double taxation is happening. Let it happen because it is a sin product, because the government thinks that as and when they will increase the price, the consumption will go down. This is what the government thinks. Okay, and then opium, Indian hemp, narcotic drugs related things, for that also dual taxation is applicable, that is GST is also applicable and state excise duty is applicable. Manageable till here, everyone? Yes. So what you are required to remember here is the entire table. Okay, which product is outside the purview of GST, which is within the purview but yet GST is not yet levied, and 2 categories of products on which dual taxation is still applicable. Yes, very important. Apart from these, okay, subject to this table, GST is applicable on all the goods and all the services. This is what we will remember for the time being. Okay, then after that, going ahead. Now, when the GST law came into picture, okay, when GST law came into picture, all the laws were totally removed. Okay, subject to some products, but the old taxes were removed. So, can we say the old taxes got subsumed in GST? Those got kind of diluted in GST. Yes, those went totally invisible. Which old taxes went totally invisible? Yes, so central excise duty and additional excise duty. Okay, this is gone. Service tax is gone. Then excise duty under Medicinal and Toilet Preparation Act is gone. CVD, countervailing duty and special CVD, special additional duty is gone. Then central sales tax, CST is gone. Then all the surcharges and cesses. Just like in income tax, also you have surcharge and cess. Now we had it in the old law also, so even that is gone. Okay, then at state level, your state surcharge and cess is gone. Your entertainment tax is gone, but something is left. I'll come to that again. Then your tax on lottery, betting, gambling is gone. Now on lottery, betting, gambling, GST is applicable. Okay, entry tax is gone. Purchase tax is gone. VAT and sales tax is gone, luxury tax is totally gone, tax on advertisements is totally gone. So all these taxes were there, like so many multiple taxes were there, right? All these taxes are totally gone, and now we have just got the GST. Okay, one special point which I want to tell you about entertainment taxes. See, entertainment tax is levied. Okay, entertainment tax is levied by local authority also, and it is levied by the state government also. So the tax which was levied by state government is gone. Okay, but the tax which is levied by local authority, okay, or by local bodies, that is still applicable. Okay, when you go and watch movies, okay, you just check it on your movie ticket. There is a tax which is levied called as entertainment tax, which is not levied by the state government or central government, but that is levied by the local authority. So that is still there. That is not subsumed under GST. Yes, so that's why it is written entertainment tax is gone, except those levied by the local bodies. Are you understanding this? Yes. Okay. Please remember this specific point about entertainment tax. Acha, now, ma'am, what about other taxes? Like, what about customs duty? What about that? So customs duty was there earlier also, custom duty is there now also. Okay, custom duty is applicable on import and export. So that is still applicable. So now also when you import, customs duty is applicable. Okay, there is a tax called as social welfare surcharge under customs. That is also still applicable. There is a tax called as anti-dumping duty, safeguard duty under customs. That is still applicable. Ma'am, stamp duty, that is still applicable. Okay, that is still applicable because that is not a tax on goods now. It is not a tax on goods. Only those taxes which were related to goods and services. Only those taxes which were related to goods and services and which were levied by central government and state government, only those got subsumed under GST. So my stamp duty value, property taxes, municipal taxes, those will stay as it is. Okay, those will stay as it is. So see, I have written here, just as example I have given, therefore taxes not subsumed in GST, basic custom duty, duty to compensate GST, entertainment tax by local authority, property tax, stamp duty, these are not subsumed in GST. Not subsumed in GST means these are not dissolved under GST, these are still applicable. Yes. So this was one thing. So which taxes got subsumed? Primarily indirect taxes on goods and services, those got subsumed. The taxes or levies which were, starting with manufacturing and which were going till consumption. The taxes which were there into the chain, like the excise duty, VAT, service tax, etc. Those taxes which were forming part of the chain, right from the manufacturer till the consumer, whichever taxes were coming in between, whichever taxes were interfering in between, only those taxes have gone. Okay, why these have gone? Because this was not leading to free flow of credit, because the input tax credit was not available. That's why we have subsumed all these taxes, and now because of this, can we say there will be a revenue fairness? There will be a revenue balance, there will be a revenue fairness between the central government and state government. Earlier, central was not getting taxes on goods, the state was not getting taxes on services. Now both of them are going to get fair share. Are you able to understand this? Yes. Acha. Now there is a seamless flow of credit. Right, there is a seamless flow of credit that we have already discussed. Also, can we say revenue of CGST? Okay, revenue of CGST will go to the central government. Revenue of SGST will go to the destination state. Okay, revenue of IGST will be divided between central government and state government. No issues in that also. So there is a seamless flow of credit that is going to happen. Okay, I'll also explain it to you by way of a numerical example later. Don't worry about the same. Okay, and here what they have written is, they are talking about setting off, like taking the ITC, taking the credit. Okay, taking the credit of the taxes paid at the earlier level. So what if at the earlier level I had paid the tax of IGST and now I am going to set it off again CGST, SGST. So is that possible, not possible, etc. That we will understand as in when we go ahead in our syllabus. Don't worry about the same. Okay, now few benefits of GST to the economy, just a theoretical thing, you can just go through it once. So because of that, India has become a one nation market. Okay, why? Because even if you sell the goods within your own state or if you sell it in the other states, it won't make a difference in tax. Like in tax amount, in tax revenue, in ITC, input tax credit, it won't make a difference at all. Okay, then boost to Make in India initiative. Now because on manufacturing and further sale, etc., same one single tax is applicable. So people would want to manufacture here in India only. Earlier what used to happen was excise duty was applicable, its credit was not available. So it went on adding the cost to the cost of the product. So people were preferring imports of the goods, right? Then because of this, because more and more manufacturing will now happen in India, because of that investment, more investment will come into India, more employment opportunities will be created in India. Okay, then ease of doing businesses, there's certainty in tax administration. You can easily and transparently, you can easily calculate the tax amount. There is no hidden provision here, right? Then website is made in such a manner that everything you can do it on the website itself by use of information technology. There is a reduction in compliance cost because many of the things are already automated. Okay, so you need not even appoint someone to do your GST work. It can be done very much within the company itself by the staff of the company itself. Okay, then what is the advantages for other industries? So this GST gives benefit to agriculture and other industries. Like there are certain benefits given to the farmers, there are certain exemptions given for agricultural activities. Okay, then cascading effect is totally gone, that is no tax on taxes there, so inflation is under control. Okay, and the cost of the products do not soar high. Then it also gives benefits to some small business persons, like we discussed about that composition scheme, do you recollect? That was giving some benefit to the small businessmen. So these are certain benefits of GST, right? Now coming on to the last part of the chapter, that is constitutional provisions relating to GST. That is, what is the impact of GST in our constitution? Like I told you, when GST came into picture, we had to do the constitutional amendment. Right? When GST had come into picture, we had to do the constitutional amendment. So where all in our constitution, the GST, because of GST, we had to do the amendment. Let's try to understand that. For that, we need to study. Few articles from our constitution. So article number 265 simply says that no tax can be levied except by the authority of law. Means you can levy some tax only if the law gives you some authority. Okay, example. So if I want to levy GST, can we say it should be authorized by the law, right? So it should be authorized by the CGST law, SGST Act, IGST Act, etc. Let's say I want to simply levy a tax called as Arpita tax. Can we levy it? No, it cannot be levied because it is not authorized by law, right? So if we want to levy any sort of tax, it should be authorized by law. Okay, secondly, article number 245. What does article number 245 say? Article number 245 normally says that whenever parliament is making some law, it is applicable to whole of India. Okay, because parliament is not confined to one state, it is applicable to whole of India. And secondly, when any state legislature makes any law, okay, whenever any state legislature makes any law, it is applicable to that state only. Example, Maharashtra state legislature is making some law, it is applicable only to the state of Maharashtra. Okay, that is told by article number 245. And article number 246 says that this article gives respective authority to the union, that is central government and state government, for levying tax. So article number 246 basically says that okay, central government has powers to levy some taxes, state government has got powers to levy some sort of taxes. Example, central government has given has the powers that it can levy income tax. State government has the powers that it can levy stamp duty, then it can levy some state related taxes called as profession tax, etc. So this article number 246 says that okay, central government has got some powers, it can levy few taxes. State government has got some powers, it can levy few taxes. But there was no such power. there was no dual power till now which was given to the central government and state government both to levy the taxes simultaneously. So for that, article number 246A was inserted, and they told, can you see A? Earlier one was 246. Now the new addition was done, that is 246A, where they gave Constitution gave the power to make laws with respect to GST. So here both of them dual powers was given. Can you see this? Dual powers were given. That is, Parliament and legislature of every state have got the powers to make laws related to GST. Acha. But so now both of them are central as well as state have got the joint powers to make the GST law. But for two matters, the power is there only with the Parliament. Okay, one is for the interstate supply. That is where two or more states are involved. The exclusive power to make the laws is with the Parliament. And secondly, there is going to be a provision called as place of supply. Okay, place of supply. What is the place of supply? What is the place where the supply has happened? To determine those things, the power has been given exclusively. Exclusively, the power has been given to Parliament. Means for these two matters, one is interstate supply and second one is place of supply. For these two matters, all the decisions will be taken only by the central government. Otherwise, apart from these two, the joint power is there with the central government as well as state government. Manageable till here? Yes? Okay, done. This is done. Okay, then the next one, article number 269. This was also new article inserted where they told that whenever we are doing any interstate supply, that is when I am doing, let's say, Maharashtra to Delhi, Maharashtra to Tamil Nadu, etc. Whenever I am doing any interstate supply, at that time IGST will be applicable. Okay, this I have already discussed. IGST will be applicable. IGST is collected by whom? IGST will be collected by the central government, and later on it will be shared between central government and state government. Are you understanding this? Acha, when we talk about intrastate, okay, when we talk about intrastate, then there is no problem. Half of the revenue will go to the central government, half of the revenue will go to the destination state government. But what if two or more states are involved? Then in such a case, the entire revenue will be collected by the central government in the name of IGST, and then later they will do the division of their revenue. Right? Then another new article was inserted, that is the article number 279A, which talks about the GST Council. Okay, which talks about the GST Council. Now, GST Council, we just now had a reference of GST Council. That is the date when the GST will be applicable on diesel, petrol, etc. That will be later notified by the government after taking the recommendations from the GST Council. This is what we had studied. So now who all are going to sit in this GST Council? This is a very, very important council. Yes. So GST Council consists of the Union Finance Minister. Okay, our honorable Finance Minister, existing Finance Minister, that is Nirmala Sitharaman ji. She is going to be the chairperson of this GST Council. Then we are going to have the Union Minister of State in charge of Revenue or Finance. That person will act as a member of the GST Council. Okay, he is the Union Minister of State in charge of Revenue or Finance. Okay, this is one single person. This person will be the member of the GST Council. Then after that, from every state, there will be minister in charge of finance or taxation, or any other minister nominated by each state government will be the members. So from every state, there will be a minister who will be nominated, who is in charge of finance or taxation. Those people will be the members. Like, so one person will be coming from each state. Those will be the members of the GST Council. So this way there will be some members. Okay, this way Nirmala Sitharaman ji will be the chairperson of the GST Council, and apart from that, there will be some members sitting in this GST Council who are going to recommend. Okay, they are not the decision makers, but they are the analyzers. Okay, they will give the facts. They will give the facts to the central government, state government. They will give the ideas to the central government, state government, and later they will decide upon that. Now, what is the function? What is the purpose of making this GST council? So, which taxes will get subsumed? On which taxes GST should be applicable? On which goods and services the GST should be exempted? Okay, then they will make the laws. They will make the model laws, like the draft of the laws, etc. Then what will be the limit for taking the registration under GST? 10 lakh, 20 lakh, 40 lakh. What should be the limit? They will suggest the limit. Then what will be the rates of GST, including some special rates that they will levy at the time of some disaster, etc. Okay, then there are certain states, then there are certain special category states. So they will also suggest some provisions that should be made for these special category states, so that these states can also contribute to our economy. Ma'am, what are these special category states? So I have given a code for that, MMT Sam Jua. Okay, MMT Sam Jua is MMNT Sam Jua. Okay, MMNT, first MMNT stands for Manipur, Mizoram, Nagaland, Tripura. Okay, Manipur, Mizoram, Nagaland, Tripura. SAM stands for, I will mark it in another ring. SAM stands for Sikkim, Arunachal Pradesh and Megha. Okay, Arun and Megha will go always together, remember that way. Okay, Arun and Megha. So Sikkim, Arun and Megha, these three will go together. And then Jua. Jua stands for Jammu Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, Assam and Uttarakhand. Please remember it in this manner, because this is the code which we are going to use it for further chapters also. Okay, so these are your 11. Okay, these are your 11 special category states where the business transactions are not much as compared to other states. Okay, when you see these states, the business transactions are not much as compared to Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, Delhi, Kolkata, etc. So we will make some special provisions for these special category states. So those will be recommended by the GST Council. Then they will also recommend the date on which from which the GST will be applicable on those 5 products. So these are the functions of the GST Council. Yes, okay. And then after that, some other points. Okay, last few points which are coming up here. So now whenever GST Council is meeting, okay, there has to be a proper quorum. You must have heard about the word quorum. That is minimum number of members who should be present to form a, to constitute a proper meeting or to start a proper meeting. So at 1/2 of the total members, that is 50% of the total number of members shall constitute the quorum. Means at least 50% should be present. Then only the meeting can be considered as a valid meeting. Similarly, decision making, whenever they want to take some decision at the GST Council meeting, it should be taken by a majority of not less than 3/4 of the weighted votes. That is 75% weighted average voting should be there. Means kind of a special resolution. Okay, kind of a special resolution. 3/4, 75% voting should be in favor of a particular matter. Then only it will be considered as if, okay, the decision of GST Council has been taken. Okay, ma'am, how do we take this weighted average? So we'll have to give the weights to the votes of central government and state government. So the vote of central government will be given a weightage of 1/3. So whatever is the weight of central government, whatever are the votes of central government, to that we will give a weight of 1/3, and whatever are the votes of state government, to that we will give a weightage of 2/3, 1/3 plus 2/3 making it to 1. Okay, and then we are going to find out a final majority, and we will see that whether we have got 75% voting or not. Okay, this is how, see, 50% was for quorum, that was just to start the meeting. Once the meeting is started, then to take a decision, because there can be disagreement between the members of the GST Council also now. So whenever they want to finalize something in the GST Council before presenting it to the government, they will have to have a consensus between them also. So for that purpose, 75% weighted average voting should be there. Then only their decision will be considered as final. Okay, acha, sometimes it can so happen that there is a vacancy in the GST Council. Maybe some member has passed away, or maybe some member has resigned from his post, or maybe there was some irregularity in appointment of some member in the GST Council, but that is not going to affect, okay, that is not going to affect any proceedings or any decision of the GST Council. Okay, let's say in GST Council there were 31 members, and out of that, let's say one member has recently passed away. So temporarily there are only 30 members in the GST Council. No problem, let those 30 members take the decision. Okay, so whatever decision is taken by those 30 members, that will also remain valid. Okay, it's not that it will become invalid. Yeah, yes, that is written here. And the last one is article number 368. Article number 368 says that if you want to make any amendment in article 279A here, okay, if you want to make any amendment in article number 279A, then we need to get it approved from the parliament. Okay. Okay, now ma'am, can you explain it again? Now, what is article number 279A? Article number 279A talks about GST Council. So, if we want to do any changes in our GST Council, okay, that is if we want to do any changes in the number of members or members coming from which department or their functions, etc., then means can we say you are doing amendment in article number 279A? So if we want to amend this article number 279A, then in that case, from each houses of parliament, that is Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, you will have to take 2/3 voting. Means it should be approved by 2/3 members of Lok Sabha, it should be approved by 2/3 members of Rajya Sabha. Okay, and after that, at least 50% of the states, like there are so many states in India, at least 50% of the states should say yes for that amendment in article number 279A. And only if we have got these 3 levels of approval, only then you can do the amendment in the GST Council. Are you able to understand? Okay, these were your some basic things. Okay, these were your some basic things in our article, in our GST in India and introduction. Manageable till here, everyone? Yes? Okay. Now listen. Just for your curiosity and just for your understanding, I'll just explain you how does this 75% weighted average works. Okay, so that it will be very, very simple for you. And also I'll just tell you about this GST Council constitution. Okay, I'll explain it to you here. In our class notes itself I am writing so that you will also have the summary of that. Okay, so in the constitution of GST Council, see, one person is our chairperson. That is our honorable finance minister. Okay, that is okay. Okay, that is okay. Now, apart from that, you have got one union member, one union minister of state in charge of revenue or finance. That one person is the member. Union minister means from the central government. Chairperson is from the central government. That is your finance minister. And then you have one member coming from every state, nominated by every state, who is in charge of finance or taxation. So one member coming from every state means how many members, how many states do we have? Can we say totally we have got 28 states and plus 3 more are included for the purpose of GST, that is Delhi, Puducherry and Jammu Kashmir. Yes. So 28 states plus 3 more states. So totally can we say 31 states we have got for the purpose of GST. So can we say 31 members are going to come from these 31 states. Okay, and these are your state government people. So, also one more extra thing I want to tell you. See, normally India has got 28 states plus 8 union territories. Okay, this is as per the Indian constitution. But for the purpose of GST, can we say we have got these 28 states and plus out of these 8, 5 are union territories and 3 are considered as states. 5, which 5? Call D. Call D, C-A-L-L-D. Do you recollect that? Call D are those 5 union territories and 3, that is your DPK. These are your states. Okay, so for the purpose of GST, we have got 31 states and 5 union territories. Okay, this is the scenario. Okay, so that's why your 31 states are coming. So, one chairperson from the central government, one union minister from the central government and 31 members from the state government. This is the constitution. This is the constitution of our GST Council. Okay. Now see, now I'll tell you about the weighted average votes. Okay. Let's say for example, so now if we want to take any decision in GST Council, then how does it go? What was the percentage there? Can you see we have already discussed about it? To the votes of central government will give a weightage of 1/3, to the votes of state government will give a weightage of 2/3, and then we'll see if we are getting 75% weightage or not. Okay, take your calcies everyone. Please take your calci. Now see, let's say central government and state government. Okay, let's say two members are present from the central government. One is the Honorable Finance Minister and another one is that Union Minister. Okay, and both of them are saying yes. Okay, both of them are saying yes for a particular matter. So can we say we are getting 2 out of 2 votes? Okay, 2 out of 2 votes means we are getting 100% vote for a particular matter. Let's say for levying GST on petrol. Let's say the matter is for that. So let's say we are getting 100% approval of the central government. Okay, and let's say in state government, out of 31 members of the state, let's say 25 members say yes for that. Okay, so what is the probability? 25 divided by 31. What is the probability? Can we say 80.65% people are saying yes? Okay, now this is the individual percentage, but now we are required to give them a weightage. Can we say to the central government will give a weightage of 1/3 and to states we will give a weightage of 2/3? This is what we have studied already. Yes, so 100 multiplied by, this is just like your percentage and weight. Okay, so now what are we going to do? 100 multiplied by 1/3, so we'll get 33.33%. Okay, and this 80.65 multiplied by 2 by 3. So for that we are getting somewhere around 53.76%. Yes, now just add both of it. So we are getting somewhere around 87.09%. Okay, approximately whatever you're getting in your calci, 87.09. Can we say means weighted average votes? Weighted average votes we have got more than 75%. Okay, it should be at least, it should be more than or equal to 75%. Have we got more than or equal to 75%? Yes, we have got 87%. So whatever was decided by these majorities, okay, whatever was decided by these majorities, that will be considered as full and final decision of the GST Council. Okay, this is the decision of GST Council, and then we will present it before the government, and then if the government approves, then it is done and done. Are you understanding this, everyone? Yes, so this was about the weighted average votes, right? And a quorum is normal 50%, decision making is more than or equal to 75%. And if we want to do any amendment in the GST Council, then 3 level of approvals is required. Lok Sabha 2/3 approval, Rajya Sabha 2/3 approval, and states, all the states, 50% of the states should be agreeing to that matter. Then in that case, we can do the amendment in the constitution of the GST Council. Manageable till here? Simple till here, everyone? Yes? Okay, is done. Okay, so this was all about my GST in India and introduction. Basic, simple things we have done in this particular chapter. Okay, I don't think in this chapter we'll be having any analytical question. Yes, at least for CA finals, there will be no such questions. Yes, there are only direct questions in this particular chapter, not very important. Yes, and MCQs also are simple MCQs. You can just give it a try. Okay, because these are direct questions and direct MCQs, that's why I'm not doing it. I'm just giving you as homework. Yes. But when we go to the main chapters, that is supply under GST, from there, see, only these many are your direct questions. Then starts your analytical questions. Analytical questions, we are going to do it in the class. Yes, so GST in India, please, now see, you have already studied it once. Hardly in like one and a half hours, we have completed our basic chapter. So please give some time, revise this chapter, just go through the direct question, just see the question, try to recollect the provision, that's it. Okay, no need to do the writing practice of this question answers, etc. No, nothing is required. I'll tell you which questions you have to practice when we start our main chapter. Yes, I hope this chapter was simple for you. I hope it was understandable. Yes. Okay. So then we will next start with the supply chapter, supply under GST. Yes. Okay. Okay, so let's start ahead with the next chapter, that is supply under GST. Yes, from here our main provisions, our main, the crux of GST is going to start from here. Initially what we have done till here was the introduction part. Yes, okay. Now for this supply under GST. Okay, we'll continue on a fresh page. Supply under GST. Okay, very important chapter conceptually also, plus from exam point of view, super duper important chapter. Yes, chalo. Now, ma'am, why are we studying this chapter? Purpose of this chapter. This is generally the first question which I always ask before starting any particular chapter. Yes, so we have already seen in the last introduction part that GST is applicable on goods and services. Okay, and also I told you, as of now, just remember that it is applicable on all goods, all services, except for that whatever alcoholic liquor and those 5 petroleum products, etc. we had studied. Except for that, as of now, GST is applicable on all the goods and all the services. Okay, so now the next thing that comes to our mind is, ma'am, what do you mean by goods? Right? What do you mean by services? That we will study. Definition of that we are going to study here. Okay, after studying that, okay, we will come to know that so and so thing. Okay, let's say this particular AC remote. Okay, we will come to know that it is goods. So on that GST is applicable. Okay, let's say we will come to know X product is not a good. So no GST will be applicable. Okay, now what do you mean by the term supply under GST? So now first thing that they tell us here is, if there is a supply, okay, if there is a supply, then only GST will be applicable. Otherwise, no GST can be applicable. Okay, so the most important thing that we need to understand is, what do you mean by supply? Why is it important to understand whether it is a supply or not? Because if it is not a supply, there is no question of GST at all. Okay, ma'am, how will you teach us that whether it is a supply or whether it is not a supply? For that, there are certain conditions that we need to understand. There are certain concepts that we need to understand. There will be some points, okay, some checklist. If all these conditions are fulfilled, then it is a supply. If these conditions are not fulfilled, then it is not a supply. Yes, chalo. So now before starting this chapter, let's do a few definitions. Okay, let's do a few definitions. Now the first two definitions that we need to do is the definition of goods and services. Okay, definition of goods and services, so that we'll come to know that GST is applicable on what and GST is not applicable on what. Yes, you can come to the initial pages of your book, that is important definitions under GST. In that, let's do the two definition of goods and services. Okay, now here obviously the section number and the clause number is not required to be remembered. I've just given for your reference. Now, what do you mean by goods? Okay, so we know that GST is applicable. Okay, GST is applicable on goods. This is what we know. Okay, GST is applicable on goods. Now, what all things are included in goods? Okay, so in goods they say that every kind of movable property. Okay, every kind of movable property will be included in the term called as goods. So can we say immovable property? Immovable property is not goods. Okay, so let's talk about land or let's talk about a building. Then they are telling that that is totally immovable. So if you are selling a constructed building, okay, ready-made building, then it is immovable. Okay, GST is not applicable on that. See, I am talking about a ready-made building, okay, a completed building, that is immovable, so it is not goods. Okay, I have not yet spoken about under construction building. Under construction we will study today. Okay, so if there is a building which is already ready, so it is immovable, so it will not be goods, so it is totally outside the purview of GST. Okay, when we talk about land is also immovable property. So again, there is land will not be considered as goods. Okay, so no GST will be applicable on that also. So every kind of movable property will be included here. Next one is again just like immovable property was excluded, similarly money and securities. Okay, similarly money and securities are excluded from the term called as goods. Okay, so if there is any transaction happening in money, okay, if there is any transaction happening in money or if there is any transaction happening in securities, okay, let's say for example, I go to my bank and I withdraw some money. Okay, I go to the bank and I go to the cash withdrawal counter and I withdraw some money. So can we say this is a transaction in money? This is a transaction in money. This transaction in money is not considered as goods. Okay, if it is not considered as goods, then GST will not be applicable on the same. Okay, similarly, if there is any transaction, in securities, let's say I am having my broker called as Angel One Broking Company, you must have heard about it, or let's say Grow, or let's say Zerodha, or any particular stock broker. With that particular person you have an account, okay, and then you tell that person that please buy 100 shares of NSDL. Okay, let's say buy 100 shares of NSDL in my demat account. So in that case, you will have to pay the amount to the broker, and the broker will purchase the shares on your behalf, and it will be credited to your demat account. Can we say here you are doing some transaction in securities and money? There is some transaction in securities that is happening. He is helping you to buy some securities. So the amount that you are paying for buying the securities, that is not considered as goods. Okay, so any transaction in money, any transaction in securities is not included in goods at all. Okay, see, I am again not talking about the brokerage and the commission. I am just talking for the value of shares that you have purchased. Let's say for example, NSDL shares, I'm just giving you an example. Let's say NSDL shares are running at 900 rupees, and I have told my broker to buy 100 shares for me. So can I say I will be paying him 90,000 rupees plus some charges for that? Yes, so the 90,000 rupees portion I am talking about, on this 90,000 there will be, this is not considered as goods. Okay, buying of securities is not considered as goods. So there will be no GST applicable on the same, because this is a transaction in securities. Okay, so goods means anything which is kind of a movable property, but other than, so immovable property is automatically excluded. Money and securities is also not included in the scope of goods. Okay, but goods include actionable claims. Okay, goods include actionable claims. Even if it does not sound like goods, but still actionable claims are considered as goods. Ma'am, can you give example of actionable claim? Yes, listen. Now, actionable claim is such a thing where you can claim some money from the other person because some conditions have been fulfilled. Okay, example is, let's say, insurance claim. Okay, we take insurance. Let's say I've taken a motor vehicle insurance, and then some accident or some damage to the vehicle has happened. So now I have taken an insurance policy, so I can go to the insurance company and I can claim that amount. So because I have fulfilled all the terms and conditions of that insurance contract, so insurance company is required to give me the claim. So that insurance claim is considered as what? That insurance claim is considered as actionable claim, and that is included in the term called as goods. Okay, now listen, just because it is included in the term called as goods does not mean that GST is applicable. As of now, simply we are studying the definition of goods only. Okay, later we will see that on these goods are GST applicable or GST is not applicable. See, something that is not goods, then the question of GST does not arise. But if something is goods, okay, then GST may or may not become applicable on the same. Okay, similarly, another example of actionable claim. You must have heard about lottery, betting, gambling, okay, horse racing, etc. These type of things. So in these case, if you win the bet, then in that case you will get some money. Similarly, if you win some amount in casino, you will get some money. Okay, similarly, if your horse on which you have placed the bet, if that horse races and if it wins, then you get the money. So can we say you are fulfilling all the condition for which you are going to get some money? So even that will be considered as actionable claim, where you can take an action and you can claim that money. Okay, so betting, horse racing, casinos, etc. Lottery, if your lottery number comes in that announcement done by the government, then you can take that money from the lottery distributor, right? Through the lottery distributor. So all these are considered as what? All these are considered as actionable claim, and actionable claims is equal to goods. Okay, even if it does not sound like good, doesn't matter, but please remember actionable claim is equal to goods. Okay, now so this is included in the actionable claims, is included in goods. Now apart from that, okay, growing crops, okay, or grass, okay, or any things which are attached to the land. okay, which are attached to the land. Okay, let's say there is a land and on that, let's say there are some grass or there is some crops, or ignore my drawing, etc. This is the land and these are some crops or these are the grass which is attached to the land and which is going to be severed. Okay, severed means which is going to be cut. Okay, which is going to be cut before supply, means you are going to do a supply of these crops or you're going to do a supply of these grass. So can we say obviously you will have to cut it, obviously you will have to cut it. So if it is going to be severed, okay, if it is going to be severed, severed is nothing but cut, then in that case it will be considered as goods. Okay, crop, grass which is cut crops or cut grass will be considered as goods. Okay, see, if it is attached to the land, okay, if it is attached to the land and if you're selling the entire land, then it will be considered as land itself, that is immovable property, hence no goods, means it does not fall under the definition of goods. Manageable till here? Yes. So goods include all the type of immovable property, actionable claims, growing crops, grass or anything which is attached to the land and which is going to be severed either before the supply or under a contract of supply, that will be considered as goods. Immovable property is excluded, money and securities is totally excluded. Manageable till here? Yes, we will do more interpretations as and when we go ahead. Okay, next definition that we need to understand is of services. Okay, now what will be included in the term called as services? So first of all they say that in services, okay, one second now. In the definition of services, I hope you can see it, everyone. Yes, so anything other than, okay, anything other than goods will be services. Nonsense. Anything other than goods will be services. Okay, but money and securities is also excluded. So anything other than, this is a common word, okay, other than goods, other than money and other than securities will be considered as services. So can we say money and securities is excluded from goods as well as services, right? Acha, anything which was not coming into goods, that will fall under services. Are you able to understand this? Yes. Okay. Now, please try to understand. Now, what will be included in services? Can we say service is something which is provided by one person to another person? Okay, by one person to another person, for which this person is going to charge some consideration. Okay, so now let's say if there is some conversion happening, okay, if there is some use of money happening or if there is some conversion happening from one form to another form. Okay, example, we are buying securities. Okay, I gave you the example of 100 shares of NSDL. Buy 100 shares of NSDL. I am buying it through a broker, and that broker is going to charge some consideration for doing this thing for me. Means for buying this 90,000 worth of shares, let's say he is charging 200 rupees of commission from me. Then can we say that 200 rupees is a separate consideration charged for doing this transaction? It is a separate consideration charged for converting my money into securities. So money and securities on that 90,000, there is it is not considered as goods, right? Or it is not even considered as services because it is a transaction in securities and money. But can we say for doing this transaction, there is a separate consideration charge? On that separate consideration, that separate consideration will be considered as services. Are you understanding? Or let's say another example. Okay, I have got rupees with me and I want to buy dollars out of it. So I was planning to go for some travel, etc. So I have rupees with me. I wanted to buy dollars. So I went to the money changer. I told him, sir, see, I have 1 lakh rupees of amount with me. Can you give me equivalent amount of dollars for that? So he said, okay. So whatever exchange, let's say for this 1 lakh rupee, on conversion of this 1 lakh rupee, this is not considered as goods or services because this is a transaction in money. But for doing this conversion, can he take some commission from me? Yes, why not? So on that commission amount, that amount will be considered as a service provided. Are you understanding this? So see what is the definition that they are telling. So anything other than goods, anything other than money and anything other than securities, that we have understood. Okay, but it includes activities relating to use of money or its conversion by cash or by any other mode from one form currency or denomination to another form or currency or denomination for which, very very important line, for which a separate consideration is charged. Means he is helping me to do some conversion for which a separate consideration is going to be charged. Yes, and services include facilitating or arranging transaction in securities. The brokerage example which I gave you, that is included here. Okay, so this will be considered as services, or anything which in general parlance is considered as services. Example, I am providing you teaching services. So that is not goods, that is services only. Okay, I am providing you return filing services. I am providing you audit related services. So that anyway you cannot classify it as goods. That will anyway, okay, that will anyway come under the term called as services. Are you understanding this? Yes. So all these will be considered as services. And one circular was there. That is, now if there is a holding company, okay, holding company does the investment, right? Holding company does the investment in its subsidiary company. It puts some money in the subsidiary company, for which the subsidiary company gives some holding percentage to the holding company. A holding company holds, now it holds some shares in the subsidiary company for which it has paid the consideration. So now in this case, there was a circular which clarified that this cannot be taxed under GST. Why this cannot be taxed under GST? Because this is neither supply of goods nor supply of services. Because it is not good. Why? Because this is a transaction in securities and money. I am buying some shares by giving some money to the other company. So this is a transaction in money and securities. Hence it is excluded from both goods as well as services, and hence there cannot be any GST applicable on the same. Manageable till here, simple till here, understandable till here. Yes. So this was my definition of goods as well as definition of services. Please remember, for money and securities is excluded from both. Okay, money and securities is excluded from goods also, and money and securities is excluded from services also. Clear till here, everyone? Yes, so now you at least know that there is no GST applicable on transaction in money and securities, because money and securities is neither supply of goods nor supply of services. Yes, chalo, theek hai, done. Now a few more definitions, we'll do a few more definitions so that we can directly jump to the supply chapter. Now there is a definition of the term called as business. Okay, and business definition is an inclusive definition. Inclusive means it is not only restricted to this. Okay, it is not only confined to this. It is not only from point A to I, it can include something more also. So this definition, first of all, you need not by heart. Okay, just go on understanding this. So what will be included in business? So manufacturing will be included, wholesaling will be included, retailing will be included, trading will be included. Okay, then your commerce will be included, business will be included, profession, service profession will be included, any sort of vocational activities will be included, any sort of adventure will be included, wager will be included, everything. Okay, everything, it can be any sort of business. Okay, it can be an amusement park, it can be a factory, it can be a chartered accountant, everything will be included in the term called as business. Okay, then your betting, gambling, etc., everything will be considered as business, irrespective of the fact whether it is for a profit purpose or non-profit, doesn't matter. Okay, even if it is for non-profit purpose, okay, if it is for profit, then definitely it is a business. But even if it is not for a pecuniary benefit, then too it will be considered as a business. Okay, another thing, anything which is related to above, or anything which is incidental to above, anything which is ancillary to above, even that will be considered as business. Okay, now let's say, for example, in manufacturing, let's say I am manufacturing something on my own, that is the business. Or if I am outsourcing to someone, okay, I am outsourcing the work to a job worker and getting the work done from a job worker, even that will be considered as a business. Okay, then whether or not there is volume, or whether or not there is frequency, or whether or not there is continuity or regularity of the transaction, doesn't matter. Okay, small business, big business, too many transactions, too less transaction, seasonal business, occasional business, no issues, everything will be considered as business. Okay, then supply or acquisition of goods including capital goods and services at the time of commencement of business or closure of business. So if you are buying some capital goods or at the time of closure of business you are selling some capital goods, even that is considered as business. It is going to have a big impact later on. Okay, then when a society, okay, society, residential welfare association, cooperative societies, when they are providing some services or facility to its members, even that is the business. Okay, a club is providing facility or services to its members, even that is the business. Okay, then admission to any premises. Okay, let's say you go and visit some museum. For that you have to purchase a ticket. Selling of that ticket is also considered as a business. Okay, then similarly services supplied by a person as a holder of an office which is accepted by him in the course or furtherance of his trade, profession or vocation. Now let's say there is a position holder. Okay, there is a position holder. Example, there is a MP or there is a MLA who is providing some services. Okay, he is holding a position and because of that position he is providing some services for which he is going to get some remuneration. Even that is the business. Okay, even that is a business. Then similarly, race club activity, horse racing activities, even that is the business. Okay, or any activity which is undertaken by central government, state government, etc., local authorities, etc., means services provided by them is also considered as business. See, as of now, I am not telling you whether GST is applicable on this or not, but all these activities will come under the term called as business. Yes, please don't by heart it, we have just understood it. Okay, the next term that we need to understand here is the term called as consideration. Okay, consideration word you must have already studied in your initial levels, that is in your CA foundation, in while doing your contract act, maybe in law. Yes, so consideration is what? So let's say for example, if I am providing you some goods or if I am providing you some services, can we say you would have given some consideration to me? Okay, let's say if I am providing you lectures, you would have paid fees to me. So even that fees is the consideration. Even that fees is the consideration. So this consideration that you are giving in return to me, this can be a monetary consideration or this can be even a non-monetary consideration or this can be some act also. Okay, there can be some monetary value of any act or there can be some forbearance also. That is, I say you that I will provide you lectures. Okay, I will provide you teaching services, but in return, you have to do something of not doing something. Okay, example. First example which I can give you here is, okay, I'll give you 3 to 4 examples. Please try to understand here. Okay, now let's say for example, I am providing you lectures. Okay, and I tell you fees for that is equal to 5,000 rupees. Okay, fees for that is equal to 5,000. So you give me online money or whatever cash, that is monetary consideration. Next, I tell you, okay, I will provide you teaching services. In return, can you please arrange for the IPL final tickets which is going to be there on 31st May at Ahmedabad. So you tell me, okay ma'am, I will arrange for the tickets of so and so stand. So here you are going to, in return, you are going to provide me the ticket. So this is a non-monetary consideration, but still it is a consideration. Okay, next. I tell you that I will provide you the teaching services, but in return, you are a very good singer. So in return, you have to do some performance for me. So can we say you are doing some act for me, for which there is a monetary value? Normally you perform and you get money, but here you are performing for me because I am providing you teaching services. So even that will be considered as a consideration. Ma'am, how to do the valuation of that? That is a different thing, but this is considered as a consideration. Are you understanding this? Yes. Okay. Another thing, you must have heard something like this. Okay. Non-compete fees. Okay. There is something called as non-compete fees. Let's say there is a company which tells to its employees, okay, that I will give you 5 lakh rupees, but you will not join the other company. So can we say there is a forbearance of act that is happening? You are not going to do something, and for not doing something, you are getting 5 lakh rupees from me. Even that is considered as a consideration. Are you able to understand? So consideration can be monetary, non-monetary, it can be in form of any act or it can be in the form of any forbearance for supply of goods or services, whether by recipient or by any other person. So I am the supplier, I am supplying you coaching services, and in return, you are going to pay me some consideration. You are the recipient. Yes, I am the supplier and you are the recipient. So either you will pay this money to me or someone on your behalf is going to pay the money to me. Either you will pay me the fees or your parents will pay me the fees. Either you will pay me the fees or your friend will pay me the fees. Right, but it will not include any subsidy given by the central government or state government. So if I am receiving some subsidy from the central government or state government, that is not considered as a consideration. Okay, so there we will assume as if there is no consideration involved. Okay, only when the subsidy is given by central government or state government, anything, if central government or state government pays me something, that is not considered as a consideration. And the last point, very nice point, is you must have heard about a refundable deposit and non-refundable deposit, right? So let's say if I have taken a property on rent, so I am required to pay some deposit amount to the owner of that property. If that deposit is a refundable deposit, means I am going to get it back. If I am going to get it back, then that is not a consideration for him. Right? That is not a consideration, because anyway he will take it from me now temporarily as a security and he is going to give it back to me. So that is not a consideration. But if this deposit is a non-refundable deposit, then can I say once I pay this non-refundable deposit to you, you are going to forfeit it? So that will be considered as a consideration. Or if this deposit is going to be adjusted against the dues, let's say I failed to pay the rent for 3 months. So can I say owner of the property will deduct the rent from that deposit? So that portion which he has adjusted against rent, that will be considered as a consideration. Yes, so whatever is going to stay permanently with that person, that is the consideration. But whatever he has to return it back to me, that will not be considered as a consideration. Are you able to understand this? Yes. So this is the meaning of the term called as consideration. Then going on to another term called as persons. Okay, person definition is just similar to your income tax definition. Person includes individual, HUF, company, firm, LLP, AOP, BOI, whether incorporated or not in India or outside India. Then any corporation established by or under any central, state or provincial act or government company, even they will be considered as person for the purpose of GST law. Then any body corporate, okay, any body corporate incorporated by or under the laws of a country outside India, even that is included here. Cooperative society, local authority, government, society under the Society Registration Act, trust, artificial juridical person, etc., who is not included above. All these, so basically they have tried to include everyone here, they will be considered as person. Ma'am, what is the relevance of this? Once I get the word in a statement, I'll explain you. As of now, just go on understanding. Yes. Next one, next term is the term called as recipient. Okay, next is the term called as recipient. Now, who is the recipient? See, supplier is the one who is supplying. Okay, supply definition also we have got. Supplier is who? Supplier is the one who is either supplying goods or he is supplying services. Either I am providing you the services or someone on my behalf is providing you the services. So, either the supplier or the agent of the supplier, they will be termed as supplier. Now, who is the recipient? Who is the recipient? The one who is receiving it. Yes, but most important thing that you need to check here is who is paying the consideration. Okay, if I am providing you coaching services and you are paying me the consideration, you are going to pay me the consideration. So the person who is liable to pay the consideration will be considered as the recipient. Okay, see here. For goods and for services, if there is a consideration involved, means I am providing you teaching services for which I am charging 5,000 rupees, for example. So the person who is liable to pay the consideration, okay, this definition of recipient is important, we will use it ahead. The person who is liable to pay the consideration, see, Arpita is the supplier. Okay, Arpita is the supplier. Arpita is supplying the services to the student, and can I say student is liable to pay the consideration? So student will be considered as what? Student will be considered as the recipient. The one who is liable to pay the consideration will be considered as the recipient. But what if there is no consideration involved? What if I am providing free coaching services? Then still if I want to find out the recipient, who will be the recipient? The person who is actually receiving those goods or services. Okay, so let's say I am providing you free coaching services, So the one who is actually receiving those goods in case of goods, and in case of services, the one who is actually availing those services, that person will be considered as the recipient. Manageable till here. Yes, so where there is a consideration involved, the person who is liable to pay the consideration. When there is no consideration involved, the person to whom the goods or services are given, that person will be considered as the recipient. Yes, okay. Then after that, supplier definition we have already discussed. Supplier means if I am providing you the goods or services, if I am supplying you the goods or services, I am the supplier. Okay, it includes me also and it includes my agent also. And similarly, if there any person who is a supplier of specified actionable claims, okay, we are yet to study about specified actionable claim. Specified actionable claim example I will give it to you. See, actionable claim examples I had given it to you: insurance claim, betting, lottery, gambling, etc. So similarly, specified actionable claims, we will study about that. Okay, one of the example of that is lottery. Okay, betting, gambling, etc. So if these specified actionable claims are supplied by any person, so the one who is managing that platform, okay, example, betting platforms are there, betting apps are there, so the one who is managing or the one who is owning that app will be considered as the supplier. Okay, similarly, casino, the owner of the casino will be considered as the supplier. So any person who owns or any person who operates or manages digital or electronic platform for such supply will also be considered as the supplier. Yes, ma'am, what about specified actionable claims? Let's directly jump to that definition of specified actionable claims. It will be simple for you. Now see, we have already studied about actionable claims, right? Actionable claims is considered as goods. This is what we had studied in the definition of goods. Now, in actionable claims, we have got two types. One is specified actionable claims and the other one is other. Okay. Now, six things. Okay, 6 activities or 6 things will come under specified actionable claims. Rest all will go in other actionable claims. Ma'am, what 6 activities are considered as specified actionable claims? So, betting, casinos, gambling, horse racing, lottery or online money gaming. Okay, online, and this is not an inclusive definition, this is a means definition, means it is a restrictive definition, means only these six will be considered as specified actionable claim. Betting, gambling, casinos, horse racing, lottery and online money gaming, these will be considered as specified actionable claim. And can we say all these can be done online also? Online money gaming, Dream 11 you must have heard about, Jungli, Rummy or whatever different platforms are there. So the one who is owning that platform, even that person will be considered as supplier. Are you understanding this? Yes? Fine. So supplier means any person who is supplying the goods or services. Yes, it includes my agent also who is doing it on my behalf. So even that will be considered as a supplier. And another thing is any person who is supplying these specified actionable claims. Okay, who is supplying these 6 specified actionable claims. That is by operating a platform or operating a application or operating a website. Even that person will be considered as a supplier. Yes? Okay. So this we have already done. So supplier is done. Recipient is the one who was liable to pay the consideration. If he is not liable to pay, if there is no consideration involved. Okay, if there is no consideration involved, then the person who has actually received those goods or services, that person will be considered as the recipient. So this was the meaning of the term called as a supplier and recipient. Okay, then two more things that we can do it together. That is the term called as principal and agent. Okay, who will be considered as a principal? See, normally you must be understanding that this definition is not required to be by hearted. Just go on understanding. Yes. Now, who will be a principal? Principal is the one who is the main person. Okay, principal is the one who is the main person, and on my behalf the agent can do the work. Okay, so I am the main person. That's why I am called as the principal. And who is the agent? Agent is the one who is supplying the goods or receiving the goods on behalf of the principal. Okay, so principal is the main person, agent is that small person. So an agent works for what? Agent works for a commission. Okay, so agent means a person including a factor, broker, commission agent, a hartiya, del creditor agent, auctioneer, or any other mercantile agent, by whatever name you want to call that person as, who carries on the business of supply or receipt of goods on behalf of another. Means he is the one who carries on the business on behalf of the principal, and he works for commission mainly. Yes, and principal is the one on whose behalf the agent was working. Yes, so principal and agent goes hand in hand. Another term is manufacture, not at all important. I've just given it. Manufacture is nothing but processing, right? It is nothing but processing, making something new out of raw materials. So basically raw materials or some inputs are processed and they are converted into something else. Okay, so raw material was having some other name and finished goods is going to get some other name. The intermittent process is called as manufacturing, right? Okay, then there is something called as money. Okay, money. Ma'am. Why are we studying the meaning called as money? Meaning of the term called as money. We are studying the meaning of the term called as money. Do you recollect? Money was excluded. Everyone here. Money was excluded from the term goods also and from services also. So whenever there is any transaction in money that is happening, we know that because it is not even goods, because it is not even services, so question of GST will not arise on that at all. Right now, but what do you mean by money? So money means the Indian legal tender. Okay, whatever, 10 rupee note, 20 rupee note, 100 rupee note, 50 rupees note, 500 rupee note, any Indian legal tender, or coins also for that matter, or any foreign currency, any dollars or dirhams, etc., whatever you have, check, promissory note, bills of exchange, because these are also convertible into money easily. Okay, letter of credit, draft, pay order, traveler's check, money order, electronic remittance, or any other instrument which is recognized by RBI. Okay, so in whatever form the money is, that will be considered as money. Okay, but very crucial, but shall not include any currency that is held for its numismatic value. Okay, any currency which is held for numismatic value. Let's say I have got some rare coins with me. Okay, I have got some rare coins with me which I have just collected, which are not easily exchangeable. Means you cannot buy some goods or services with that. Okay, those rare coins, etc., those are the coins, those are the currency which I have held for its rare value. Okay, there are certain coins which I have got silver within it plus some copper, like which is made out of some important metals, etc., which are rare coins. Okay, and there are some exhibitions in which you can go and trade these coins. Okay, you can sell these coins. So those currency, okay, which is not your easily exchangeable currency. Any currency which is held for its numismatic value, that is not money. Okay, that is not money. If that is not money, then that is included in the term called as goods. Are you understanding this? Yes, so that will be considered as what? That will be considered as goods, and GST may be applicable on the same. So if I am having a 10 rupee note, or if I am having a 1 rupee coin, and if I am giving that to someone, okay, in exchange of money, let's say I am giving 10 notes of 10 rupees. Okay, I am giving 10 notes of 10 rupees to a bank and I am taking 100 rupees in return. Okay, that is purely a transaction in money, no GST, etc. Nothing is going to happen on that. Okay, but let's say I am selling this coin, these rare coins to someone for which I am going to get, let's say, 10,000 rupees in return. So that will be considered as supply of goods. Okay, that will be considered as supply of goods. So any currency which is held for its numismatic value, okay, which is held for its rare value, then on that will be considered as that is not money, so that will be considered as goods. Yes, chalo, theek hai. Then after that, the next definition is of the term called as family. Okay, very simple definition. Next term called as family. So now for the purpose of GST, see, every law has a different definition of related person. Every law has a different definition of family and all those things. Okay, so now let's see what is the definition for the purpose of GST. So in family, okay, for the purpose of GST, who will be included in the term called as family? So I will be included. Okay, so if you talk about family of Arpita, okay, if you talk about family of Arpita, so can I say spouse of Arpita? Okay, spouse of Arpita will be included plus children of Arpita will be included. Okay, spouse of Arpita and children of Arpita. Okay, they will be included in the term called as family. Okay, unconditionally. Okay, apart from that, my parents, okay, my parents, my grandparents, my brother and my sister. Okay, they will be included in my family only if they are wholly and mainly dependent on Arpita. Okay, so spouse and children, whether dependent, whether independent, doesn't matter. They will always be considered as my family. But my parents, my grandparents, my brother and my sister, they will be included in my family only if they are wholly or mainly dependent on Arpita. Are you able to understand this? Okay, this family definition we are going to use. Please be careful with that. Okay, then after that going to the next one. Now next term is something called as online gaming. Okay, just now we saw about online money gaming. Online money gaming was one of the specified actionable claims, one out of those 6 points. Okay, now first of all, what do you normally mean by online money gaming? So online money gaming is you are participating in some game online and you are paying some money to participate in that. That is considered as online money gaming, right? Now see, online gaming, there are two terms. One is online gaming and the other term is online. One is online gaming and the other term is online money gaming. Okay, please try to understand. Online gaming is nothing but gaming on internet. Okay, playing some game on the internet, whether or not money is involved in that or not, doesn't matter. Online gaming, normal, you play Ludo, you play Tambola, etc. Whatever, example I am giving it to you. So, any game on internet or an electronic network, but online gaming is a wide word. Okay, that is a wide word and that includes online money gaming. Yes? Now, online money gaming means what? See, online money gaming is online gaming in which the player, the one who wants to play, pays some amount or he deposits some amount to play that game. Okay, example, when you used to play on Dream 11, can we say to make a team we had to pay some 39 rupees, 49 rupees. So that will be considered specifically as online money gaming. Okay, so where you deposit some money, either it can be in like by bank you are transferring or money is worth you are giving. Okay, or maybe you are giving some crypto coins, etc. Okay, virtual digital assets, whatever you are paying something. Okay, you are paying something to play that particular game and the how much amount you are going to win out of that depends on multiple factors, that depends on your skill, that depends on the final outcome, etc. Okay, so online money gaming is something where you are playing the game online in which money is involved. Okay, so that is considered as online money gaming, and please understand, online money gaming is considered as specified actionable claim. Okay, that is considered as specified actionable claim, and this is considered actionable claim. We have already studied. This is considered as goods also, right? Okay. Then after that, next definition. Okay, next few definitions we are required to do here. 3 to 4 definitions we have to do here. Next definition is of the term called as a taxable person. Now, what do you mean by taxable person? Okay, now for the purpose of GST, see, taxable person means what? He is liable to pay the tax. Okay, when does a person become liable to pay the tax under GST, or when does a person become liable to pay GST? Either that person is registered under GST, means he has got himself registered under GST, he has got himself registered on the GST portal. Okay, so either a person who is already a registered person or a person who is liable to get registered. Means he is not yet registered. Okay, he is not yet registered, but he is liable to get registered. Means what? Means maybe his turnover has exceeded a certain threshold limit for registration and he has not yet got registered, but he is liable to get registered. See, let's say if the threshold limit for registration is 20 lakh, means law says that as soon as your turnover crosses rupees 20 lakh, you have to get yourself registered. Let's say my turnover is 21 lakh. So can I say I am liable to get registered? I should have got registered by now. because I am liable to pay the tax to the government now, because government had set a limit of 20 lakh rupees here. So any person either who is registered, okay, or the person who is liable to get registered, such a person will be called as what? These two people will be called as taxable person. Okay, these two people will be called as what? They will be called as taxable person. Manageable till here? Yes. Acha, now I want you to get into a little more detail of this. See, taxable person, just now I told you, either that person is registered, okay, or that person is liable to get registered. See, registered under GST can be in two ways. Either he has taken a voluntary registration. Voluntary registration means he did not bother about the threshold limits at all. Maybe right from day one he has taken a registration under GST. So even that person will be included here. Okay, or any persons whose turnover limit has exceeded the threshold. Okay, so even that person will get himself registered. So if he is registered, then you don't have to apply. Once he is registered, he is liable to pay the GST. He becomes a taxable person. But who is liable to get registered? Any person who is an unregistered person, but who should have got himself registered, okay, whose turnover has exceeded the threshold limit. Then in such a case, this person will be considered as a taxable person. Yes, so here, in case of registered person, it can be a voluntary registration or it can be a threshold limit registration, doesn't matter. That person will be considered as a taxable. And here, liable to get registered means he is an unregistered person, but who has not yet got himself registered. Yes, see however I return here, taxable person is a person who is registered or who is liable to get registered under section 22 or 24. Section 22 or 24 will do it in the registration chapter, and hence even an unregistered person who is liable to get registered is a taxable person. Similarly, a person who was not liable to get registered but he has taken a voluntary registration. Okay, let's say even if my turnover was 1 lakh rupee, so I was not liable to get registered but I took voluntary registration, so I will be still considered as a taxable. So one who is already registered, don't think much about it, that person is anyway a taxable person. And the person who is liable to get registered because his turnover had exceeded the limits, that person will be considered as a taxable. Taxable person means boss pay the tax to the government, collected from the other person, paid to the government. Yes. Okay, then after that, the next definition is of related persons. Okay, let's try to understand this. Now see, family definition we have already done. Who was included in Arpita's family? My spouse and my children. Okay, my spouse and my children will be included in my family. Then my parents, my grandparents, my brother and my sister, they will be included in my family only if they are wholly or mainly dependent on me. Okay, now going on to next definition, that is of related persons. Okay, because it is going to have an impact when we do the supply chapter ahead. Okay, so who will be considered as related persons? Let's try to understand this. So related normally means, like, when will we two be related? When will you and I be related? Maybe we are family members, then we will be related, or when maybe either I am under your influence or you are under my influence. Okay, or maybe when I am controlling you or you are controlling me, at that time we can call ourselves as related person, right? So this is the definition that we have understood. Now let's see what is the book definition here. So a person who is under influence of another person is called as a related person, like members of the same family or subsidiary companies, etc. Subsidiary holding company. Under GST law, various category of related person has been specified. Now see, person including legal persons are deemed as related person if such persons are officers or directors of one another business. Let's say a company and its directors. Okay, they can be considered as a related person. If such persons are legally recognized partners. Okay, a partnership firm and its partners. Okay, a partnership firm or LLP and its partners, even they will be considered as related person. Employer-employee, very nice point. Employer and employee will also be considered as related persons. Then next important point, a third person. Okay, third person controls, owns, holds directly or indirectly at least 25% voting stock or shares of both of them. Means let's say there is a company called as A Limited, and let's say there is a company called as B Limited. Okay, these are the two persons. And then there is a third person. Let's say someone called as Mr. C. Okay, Mr. C. Or let's say there is someone called as Mr. Ambani. Okay, Mukesh Ambani, who is holding at least 25% in both the companies individually, 25 year, at least this much in these two companies. Then in such a case, A Limited and B Limited will be considered as related person. Okay, common person is holding shares in two companies, at least 25%. Then these two companies will be considered as related person because they are having a common ownership, because they are having a common holding. Yes. Then one of them controls the other. Okay, one of them controls the other. Like your three people are not involved. Please understand, your three people are not involved. Let's say A Limited is controlling B Limited, or let's say A Limited is taking the decisions for B Limited, or A Limited is appointing the managerial personals in B Limited. So one company is controlling the other company. So your A Limited and B Limited will be considered as related person. So one of them controls the other. Example, Q Limited has a deciding role in corporate policy, operation management and quality control of R Limited. Then in that case, obviously, if it is taking crucial decisions for the other company, then these two companies will be considered as related. I hope you understood the difference between the previous point and this one. In the previous one, there was a person who was having common ownership in these two companies. Then these two companies were considered as related person. Here there are only two companies involved. Okay, then a third person controls both of them. Okay, a third person controls directly or indirectly both of them. Let's say Ambani. Okay, let's say Mr. Ambani is controlling A Limited and he is controlling B Limited. Means he is taking decisions for A Limited also and he is taking decisions for B Limited also. Then in that case, A Limited and B Limited. Okay, again same. A Limited and B Limited will be considered as related person. Yes. Okay, in this point, he should be having more than or equal to 25% stock or holding. But here, no such holding condition is required, just control should be there. Right? Acha, or such person together controls a third person. Such persons together control a third person. Means A Limited and B Limited, let's say it together controls C Limited. Both of them together control C Limited. So again, A Limited and B Limited will be considered as related person. Or same family members, family, same definition, same family members will be considered as related persons. So I and my spouse are related persons. I and my children will be related person. Okay, I and my brother will we be related person? Not necessarily. Okay, only if my brother is wholly and mainly dependent upon me, then we both can be considered as related person. Okay, they will not ask you directly this way. What they will say is, let's say I am a chartered accountant and let's say my sister, okay, let's say my sister is also a chartered accountant. So they will give you, Arpita is a chartered accountant and her sister is also a well-established chartered accountant. So how will you interpret this? So here in this case, my sister is a well-established chartered accountant means she is not dependent on me. She is not dependent on me. If she is not dependent on me for the purpose of GST, she is not my family member and she is not my related person. Understanding this? Yes? Okay. And the last one. One of them is the sole agent. Okay. One of them is the sole agent or sole distributor or sole concessionaire of the other. Means I am the principal and I am having a sole agent. Sole agent means he is working only on my behalf. He is working only for me. That is sole agent. So when there is a principal and sole agent, then in that case, these will be considered as a related person. But if there is an agent who is working for multiple people, then in that case, we are not related person. But if he is working only for me, then obviously he is my related person. Are you understanding this? Yes, this was the definition. This was the definition of the term called as related persons. Right? And now going on to the last two terms. Okay, last two terms called as distinct persons and establishment of distinct persons. Okay, very, very crucial definition under GST. Let's try to understand this. So now let's start with this definition, everyone. Very, very simple, very nice concept. You have to remember it throughout your GST. Yes. So now listen. let's say for example, now one thing which I want to tell you now, I know it is very early for this because we have just started with our GST, but let me just tell you, in GST, the registration, okay, the registration that you take, that is state-wise. Means there is no centralized registration. It's not that one registration will work across India. No, it's not that. Okay, so the GST registration in India is state-wise. Means let's say if I am having one of my office, okay, if I am having one of my office in Maharashtra, and if I am having my another office in Tamil Nadu, for example, then in that case, I will have to get myself registered in two different states. Okay, first GST registration will be in Maharashtra, second GST registration will be in Tamil Nadu because the state changes. Okay, because the state changes. Please try to understand this. Okay, so for this I will have to go to the Maharashtra government, and for this I will have to go to the Tamil Nadu. Means whenever I am applying for the registration, I will have to mention there specifically. Yes, now here, please try to understand. Can I say both of my offices are having the same PAN? Both of my offices are having the same PAN. Let's say it is A Limited. Let's say it is Arpita Limited only. So can I say it will be having the same PAN? PAN is one only, na? But the GST registration will be two. Okay, and GST registration is also based on PAN. Please understand that. When you apply for GST, first thing that you have to submit is PAN. So can I say the person is having the same PAN but is having two business offices, two places or two different offices in two different states? So here these two offices, okay, now let's say this person has obtained registration in Maharashtra and this person has obtained registration in Tamil Nadu. Okay, it is both of the offices are GST registered. So in such a case, these two offices will be called as distinct persons. Okay, these two offices will be called as distinct persons. Okay, provided both of them are registered. Provided both of them are registered. One is registered in Maharashtra, one is registered in Tamil Nadu, and both of them are registered with the same PAN. They have got two different GST registration number but are within the same PAN. Then these two offices will be considered as distinct persons. Are you understanding this? So it is establishment of the same person. It is establishment of Arpita Limited only, but with two different GST registrations that can be either within two different states or it can be within same state also. Then it will be considered as distinct person. Okay, example. Let's say I am having one office in Mumbai. Okay, I am having one office in Mumbai, Maharashtra, and I am having another office in Pune, Maharashtra. Now here, this is of Arpita Limited. So same PAN is there, only one single PAN is there. Now here I have got two options. Either I can take two different registrations. Even if it is within two states, the law allows me to take two different registrations. So I can take one registration for Mumbai and one registration for Pune. So can we say both of them are separately registered? Okay, same PAN but two different GST registrations. This will be considered as what? This will be considered as distinct persons. Yes, this will be considered as distinct persons. But what if I am having one office in Mumbai, Maharashtra, another office in Pune, Maharashtra, and only Mumbai has got registered. Pune office, I am showing it as my additional place of business. Mumbai is my main place of business and Pune I am showing as additional place of business. First of all, allowed or not allowed? Allowed, because within same state, even if you take one registration, that is sufficient. Okay, so here if I am taking one registration in Mumbai and I am not taking any registration for Pune, so here this cannot be considered as distinct person, because for distinct persons, multiple offices, only if they are having multiple GST registration number, then only you can call it as distinct person. Okay, here can I say this is my place of business which is registered and this is my additional place of business which is not registered. This is kind of a branch only, and that too within the same state. But if I want to open a branch in another state, okay, if I want to open my branch in another state, let's say Tamil Nadu, so even if I am calling it as my branch, I will have to obtain a separate registration, because as soon as you move out of your state, a separate GST registration is required. So that's why, see what are they telling? The establishment of a person, it was Arpita's establishment, okay, it was within the same PAN. but with separate registrations, whether within the same state or union territory or in different states or union territory, but under the same PAN, are considered as distinct persons. Okay, so if it is one PAN but multiple GST registrations, so whatever which these registered entities will be considered as the distinct persons. Okay, then what do you mean by establishment of distinct persons? Okay, please try to understand what do you mean by establishment of distinct persons. Now let's say Arpita Limited is there. Okay, let's say Arpita Limited is there, which is having a PAN. Okay, which is having a PAN. Now Arpita Limited is having one of her office in Mumbai, Maharashtra, and this office is registered. Okay, from here she is providing coaching services. Okay, and she is having another establishment, let's say in Tamil Nadu, Chennai, Tamil Nadu. She is having another establishment in Chennai, Tamil Nadu, and this establishment is, let's say, unregistered. It has not yet got itself registered under GST. Ma'am, why? Why? Because let's say it was dealing in those 5 petroleum products. It was dealing in those 5 petroleum products on which GST is not applicable, so she did not take the registration. Very much valid. Okay, so now can you call these 2 entities as distinct persons? No. Why? To call 2 entities as distinct person, both of them should be registered. But can I say here one is registered and the other one is unregistered? So these will be called as what? These will be called as establishment of distinct person. Okay, these will be called as establishment of distinct person. Are you able to understand this? Okay, or let's say there is a third place from where I am supplying alcoholic liquor for human consumption. Let's say it is situated in Kerala, for example, alcoholic liquor. I am having a shop there. So obviously even that is unregistered because as of now GST is not applicable. So even this office will be considered as establishment of distinct person, provided it is within the same PAN. Yes, so one of the office is registered, another office is unregistered, then this is one of the example of establishment of distinct person. Okay, or let's say I am having one of my office in Maharashtra and I am having an overseas office, or I am having an overseas branch, let's say in Dubai. Okay, then obviously this branch will not be registered under GST. Can I say Maharashtra one is registered under GST? But that overseas branch in Dubai is unregistered under GST. So these two offices will be considered as establishment of distinct person. Manageable till here? Yes. See, for distinct persons, both of them should be registered. Both the offices should be registered, then you will call it as a distinct person. But if you are not falling under distinct persons, then that can be considered as establishment of distinct persons. Manageable till here, simple till here, doable till here. Yes. Okay. So till here, okay, these no more definitions to be done in the chapter. These are the definitions which are going to be relevant for the supply under GST chapter. Yes, ma'am, then why did you put it separately in the definition section? Because maybe for further chapters also we'll have to refer those definitions. So I don't want you to flip the pages of the other chapters to search the definition. All the definitions have been put at one place, that is important definitions under GST. In that section it has been put. Simple everyone, doable till here, manageable till here. Yes, okay. Fine. So these were your most important definitions under the supply chapter. Almost all the definitions we have covered here. And now from here onwards, we can start with our main provisions of supply. Can we, everyone? Yes. Super duper awesome. Chalo, let's start. Okay, we'll continue it ahead.